involved in an investigation of the matter told BuzzFeed that Trump directed Cohen to claim negotiations to build a Trump Tower in Moscow ended months earlier than they actually did. The law enforcement sources told BuzzFeed that Cohen confirmed to special counsel Robert Mueller's team that Trump issued the order to lie to Congress. Mueller's office learned Trump directed Cohen to lie to Congress through interviews with multiple witnesses from the Trump Organization, internal company emails, text messages, and other documents, according to the BuzzFeed report. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, a special offer for Liberty Beat listeners. Use promo code SNLS at checkout to receive 10% off your purchase with My Brave Botanicals. Your news now continues. Wyoming lawmakers have turned down a bill that would have allowed possession of hemp extract for medical purposes, according to the Associated Press. The Wyoming House Judiciary Committee voted not to advance a bill to decriminalize CBD, a non-psychoactive component of marijuana. The Casper Star-Tribune reported that 17 states have legalized products containing CBD compounds, advertised to treat a range of conditions, from muscle pain to seizures. Proponents testified that using CBD obtained in other states has helped them. Committee members voted 4-4 against the bill amid concerns the U.S. government continues to classify marijuana as a top-tier controlled substance. A similar bill failed in the Wyoming legislature last year. A Kansas City, Missouri couple claims in a federal lawsuit the state requirements for foster parents who own guns violate their constitutional rights. The Associated Press reports that foster parents in Missouri are not prohibited from possessing firearms if they are otherwise legally allowed to do so. But the Missouri Department of Social Services imposes several restrictions on them. According to a report from the Kansas City Star, the rules include storing firearms and ammunition separately, keeping firearms locked in areas inaccessible to children, and keeping firearms in a locked area in any vehicle transporting a foster child. James and Julie Attaway, who have one foster child in their home and plan to have more, argue in their lawsuit that the restrictions prevent them from possessing or carrying loaded functional firearms. The Attaways say they fear losing their foster son if they don't comply with the restrictions. The nonprofit Second Amendment Foundation joined the Attaways in the lawsuit. The lawsuit seeks an injunction preventing the state agency from enforcing the regulations, and the Attaways also want the regulations declared null and void. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details on how to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is found online at snls.news. And coming soon to the SNLS network is The Bones of Anarchy, a podcast produced by activist Tony Bones. The Bones of Anarchy coming soon to the SNLS network. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, January 18th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Following this afternoon's arrest of Congress on the charge of over 23 million counts of manslaughter, our reporter spoke to Mark Westnick from Savannah, Georgia, just one of the many Americans that has lost a loved one due to the legislative branch's criminal negligence.
Because of Congress, my 23-year-old son died 2 years ago in Afghanistan. My nephew, he lost his leg in Iraq in 2006, and my brother died in Vietnam in 1969. Congress killed my family.
Defense attorneys for the now incarcerated 538-member group have dismissed the claims made by Westnick and other victims and released a statement saying their client has been, quote, a pillar of the national community for over 200 years and completely innocent of any and all wrongdoing. Keep checking theonion.com for more as this story develops.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live. Welcome to Free Talk Live. It is the live Saturday edition of the program. And of course, you're invited to join us here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That's toll-free. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms that are open and available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. That's our chat server. You can chat in there anytime, basically, day or night, with other Free Talk Live listeners. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
So, good news, Chris. Actually, we're going to start out with a bunch of good news. You've got good news with the new restaurant that made headlines all around the world.
It did.
Right here in Keene, New Hampshire, the Pho Restaurant. We'll tell you what it's called here and why it was so controversial. There's some really good news there. But also, big news for Free Talk Live tonight is actually our second night on the air. And I always like to wait until after our first night's done, make sure everything went smoothly, you know, the satellite system didn't break down or something. And so we are now on In the Belly of the Beast.
This was amazing.
In Washington, D.C., in the heart of D.C. on FM, brand new FM station. It's called Wonk FM, and it's on 104.7 there in Washington. It's also available on HD2, but nobody has those. If you've got one of the HD2 or the HD radios, you can go to our affiliates page at affiliates.freetalklive.com. You can get all the details. But anyway, they're airing the show all 3 hours of Saturday night, but they're starting it a couple hours late. So if you're listening to this in DC tonight, you're hearing us a couple hours after we've started the show, you can still call in and join us until 10 o'clock Eastern Time. And then afterwards, you'll hear yourself later on. So welcome to the program. If you're brand new to Free Talk Live, then you may not have ever heard a show like this quite before on talk radio, because we really are an open phone show, so you really can call in about anything that you want. And we're pretty freedom friendly here, meaning not Republicans, not Democrats, but like actual libertarians. So again, there's really not a show quite like it. You're welcome to join us here. We're going to start out, like I said, with the news that broke yesterday, and I had the honor of breaking this particular news, and it was great news to be able to announce that the hat that you're wearing here in the studio. So anybody that's watching us over on our Twitch feed at twitch.lrn.fm. And so anybody watching the Twitch feed can see that. I've got the same T-shirt, same logo on a shirt. It is for this restaurant that hasn't even opened its doors yet.
Right.
I'm expecting it's going to be good because we know the lady who is the head chef there.
We know her skills.
Yeah, and she used to have a food truck out by your shop, Route 101 Local Goods here in beautiful Keene, New Hampshire.
Absolutely.
But she's sort of graduating from food truck to actual sit-down restaurant.
Yep.
Dine-in. Restaurant, and it's very, very exciting. That would have been exciting enough, on its own for little old Keene, New Hampshire,
right,
to have an actual Vietnamese restaurant.
Well, and her style, it's French Vietnamese.
Yeah, that's true.
Which is just, and these are the things I've learned about Vietnamese cooking. There is certainly more of a
French
Chinese.
Influence.
Well, part of it's a lot of Chinese influence. Mm-hmm. But then there is, the French occupied that country for an awfully long time, and they shared some recipes.
So I know I announced this last night, but I didn't get to read the quote from Isabel, and you weren't here either last night, Chris. Yeah. And you're deep involved in this, even though you're not actually involved in running the restaurant. I don't imagine you would want to be. They came to you when they had some T-shirts that they wanted to sell.
Yeah.
For this business name, Pho Keene Great. That's the name of the business.
Yep.
It's a pho noodle restaurant located here in Keene, New Hampshire, and I suspect it will be great. So they tried to put a sign up during the Christmas holidays, during the holiday season.
Yep.
They put a temporary sign up in the window, coming soon, and then the name of the business and the logo.
I question whether it was even a sign. It was literally like a poster. It was just like something you would hang.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they went to a sign company and said, make us a sign. What you're saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know what the city's definition of sign is, but I suspect it's fairly nebulous. And
it's whatever they say.
Yeah.
If they think it's a sign, then it's a sign.
So she was told to take the so-called sign down. And that wasn't all, because they were claiming, oh, well, you don't have a lease, or you have a lease and it's, some violation of the lease code on signs or whatever. And Isabel, who's the owner there, part owner, I think she disputed the concept that they were, claiming, but went ahead and took it down anyway.
Right.
And they also told her that the sign and the name specifically was offensive.
That was the first thing they told her. That was the first phone call she got was, you need to take that down. That's offensive.
And, quote, not appropriate.
Yes.
And this is a call from the city manager, the head, the boss lady of this whole city of Keene.
The biggest boss bureaucrat there is.
Calls her up on Christmas Eve. And this was, 8 months, basically, after they signed a lease with the city, because they're renting from the city, because the city it's actually in the building in which houses the city of Keene.
Right.
So there's a couple of other plots in that building or whatever where there's already a restaurant right next door to it, so they'll be moving into what was an old restaurant space already. So they claim it's offensive and it's not appropriate. That story was put out on the local newspaper as well as freekeene.com at the very end of December. It took about 4 days, I think.
Yeah.
There's a handful of days, maybe most of a week, before the mainstream media started to pick the story up. It was like, the end of the holidays.
Right.
Everybody's recovering from drinking too much on New Year's Eve. And then all of a sudden, somebody, I think it was maybe the Union Leader, which is the main kind of Manchester, New Hampshire paper, picked it up. Others in Boston saw it. AP picked it up. And then it just went nationwide, if not global.
It definitely went global. I mean, I at one point had bookmarked Chinese language.
You did find foreign language?
Yeah,
Okay.
Absolutely. So, and that's typically how newsworthy stories go in New Hampshire, and it's like this all over the country. It makes it into the local market, and then if the story seems like it's got some legs, it's got some interest, then the bigger towns will pick it up.
Yep.
And we're fairly close to Boston, and the Boston Globe is considered one of those, tier 1 newspapers that if stories make it in there, that's what the AP's watching. So.
Absolutely, and
we knew it when it happened,
and they're all on my email list. So when I put my story up at freekeene.com, I was the first one to break this news. Shortly thereafter, I sent it out to all the regional media. AP's included in that list as well, and sort of it's a custom list I've been building over the last 10 years that I didn't just throw emails into. I asked everybody who was on the list if they want to be on it, and within hours, the story was again blowing up. So. Good news is that she's allowed to have the sign now. All of a sudden, without any meeting. There was supposed to be this big meeting that was going to occur. It got delayed, supposedly to February. It never actually happened.
No, and all discussion about being offensive and inappropriate, the city, I think they did a marvelous job of damage control by never using those words and never bringing it up, and quickly changed the narrative to no, it was never that it was offensive. Oh. We would have never said that. What it was our lease is very specific, and the sign ordinance, it hasn't been approved by our bureaucrats. So that's the whole story they've been telling.
What they cooked up is that, you didn't apply for the sign permit the right way, basically? You haven't applied for it yet, or
you
what?
You didn't fill out the correct TPS report. That's what they've said, and it's bull. You know,
it's total bull. I didn't even know they were making that claim.
Well, yeah, if you read any quote by anyone coming from the city or any of them on the radio, you know, they're no, it's not offensive. We just want to make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. And I'm like, no. I listened to Isabel almost in tears.
Yeah.
New Year's Eve morning as I'm driving to work. She's going, they are telling us we can't name our business what we're naming our business.
Yeah. They tried to say that, and then it blew up in the media. And then all of a sudden they changed their tune, changed their story. Now it's okay. Now it's like, now the quotes from the city manager are like, we're looking forward to seeing what kind of delicious things she's offering.
Are you really?
Yeah. So the T-shirts have been flying off the shelves.
Yeah, I got to give those guys credit. They came up with an ingenious logo along with an ingenious name.
It's the name.
It's both.
The logo's great.
It all works together, and they were smart enough to slap this on some T-shirts early.
In advance, before anything blew up, which was cool. Didn't help that much because you got blown out with orders.
Oh, no.
Once it hit the internet. 855-450-FREE. You want to join us, talk about freedom of speech? 855-450-3733. It's Free Talk Live.
What is it called? costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways.
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dynovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dynovite.com.
With just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dynovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dynovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dynovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
This Your Family Today tip is brought to you by Lil Drums. Every bit as fun as a full-size Nestle drumstick cone and definitely cuter. Visit us at drumstick.com. Vacations are all about family time, but you don't have to leave home to have fun. Take 1 weekend a month and devote it to family activities. Pull out the board games and puzzles, serve up some treats, or have a picnic. Even without leaving home, you'll feel like you've really had some time away. For more tips like these, visit us at parenthood.com/yourfamilytoday.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want. Our toll-free number here, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. The good news about the international sensation, this headline went all over the world within the last few weeks from based out of here in Keene, New Hampshire. Restaurant that hasn't even opened its doors yet finally has been allowed to put a sign up, which has their name on it that the city manager had previously referred to as offensive, and further claiming that it is not appropriate. They apparently have changed their tune, and they're allowing it to move forward. The restaurant's name is Keene great. We're going to continue that. But first, you need to know that former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is giving away a book that covers the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis, things that can save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event, at freeescapebook.com. The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 items you must have to survive a crisis, is free for a limited time at freeescapebook.com. These 37 items don't just come from some internet list. Instead, they come from Jason's experience as a CIA officer where he had escape bags. In his free book, he also gives advice on what are the best guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters to have in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your copy at freeescapebook.com. That's freeescapebook.com. As we continue here, talking about the Keene great restaurant, the good news that the city of Keene has actually gone ahead and stepped back. They're not going to go to court, thank goodness. The ACLU doesn't have to get involved. This doesn't have to be a protracted court battle where eventually the city of Keene, New Hampshire, would likely lose. They have lost more than one court battle over the years, not just the Robin Hood case in Keene, which was where people were filling parking meters. So the parking meter attendants could not get to, or the enforcers could not actually get to anybody to write a ticket, or their numbers were down significantly, we'll just say that. The city of Keene sued in court over that, and they ultimately lost at the New Hampshire Supreme Court. They had lost, I think it was back in the 70s, when some protesters, I'm sorry I don't remember when this was, but some protesters were wrongfully arrested on Central Square. So the city of Keene has been, they've been given a spanking on more than one occasion. They've been the laughingstock of global media in a lot of cases, especially for a town this small. The city of Keene manages to keep getting back into the news, whether it's over the Bearcat, which was essentially the armored truck that the city of Keene got from the federal government several years ago, where it made national headlines for that. And of course, a lot of this has to do with the fact that we've got a great crew of liberty activists here in town that actually care about freedom and care about, in this case, the freedom to do business.
Right.
The freedom to be able to name your business whatever you want to name it, even if you're renting from the city.
And you know what? If you choose a name that is so offensive, I mean, just horrific, people are in an uproar, you're just not going to be in business.
No. Especially not as a restaurant.
You're not. So the market has a way of deciding for itself what it finds offensive, and for bureaucrats to take that role never works out.
Well, I mean, it usually does actually work out, unfortunately, Chris, because in most cases, when a business owner is told by some city, wherever, that you need to change this about what you're doing, you need to change this about your name, or whatever it is that they demand, most businesses are going to bend over backwards to make city bureaucrats happy.
That is true.
Because most people get into business just to do business. They just want to help people get, whatever product or service they want to get.
Right.
And they didn't get in to have a, knockdown, drag-out fight with city bureaucrats and attorneys in courtrooms, which is what this would have gone to if the city had continued to push forward. We may have ended up seeing a 2-year, 3-year-long legal battle.
That's why my small local good shop is a restaurant.
Wait, what?
I'm a restaurant. I'm a restaurant. I have to pay the city of Keene $200 because we sell some jams. Now, in 99% of New Hampshire, no other place has to do it. But because Keene has taken the extra step of voluntarily becoming a self-inspecting city, they can layer their own layer of regulation and bureaucracy on top of New Hampshire state law.
Well, the funny thing is, I was in a meeting with the Cheshire TV. It's the local public access here, and I'm on the board of directors there. Have been there for a long time, and this same city manager, this Elizabeth Dragon, who's new, has come into the board at CTV. So she's throwing her weight around with this restaurant over here, right, trying to get her way.
Right.
And then on the CTV board, she's also come into town to throw her weight around and renegotiate the contract between the city and Cheshire TV, because with these setups, the cable company collects a franchise fee, and then usually that franchise fee gets passed on to whatever television agency is providing that content.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she wanted to come in and completely change the way the system had worked for more than a decade, which was that Cheshire TV would get from the city the franchise fee. At some point, they changed it to 90% of the franchise fee, and the city would keep 10%, supposedly to use on their own video equipment and broadcasting or whatever. It's supposed to be for a specific purpose.
Right.
So it's been 90-10 for a long time, and this woman comes in and she proposes, oh well, how about we just give you a static amount of $14,000 and some change. And then we'll put a provision in that if the amount goes down that we receive from Time Warner, or what's now Spectrum, from Spectrum, we'll be able to reduce what we give to you. So there's no provision to go up.
Right.
The provision is only to reduce. And I tried to explain to the board this is not in our best interest. This is and so she throws in an extra $500 a month to cover the cost of an accountant that the city requires that we have. So she basically dangles this extra $500, which does make it a little bit more than what they're currently receiving.
Yeah, I was going to say, was that number based on average current spend?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. So they're getting $500 extra more, but no chance to ever raise it beyond that. So she comes in there, to throw her weight around there, and she made this bizarre comment during the meeting at one point. It was like toward the end, where she actually made a statement that she didn't want to deal with any more city departments, they don't want to take over Cheshire TV. She doesn't want another city department, she says. So maybe she would support going ahead and eliminating the health code department or the zoning board or the planning board. And, people in every town USA have to deal with this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And business owners are constantly having to deal with licensing and regulation. And, there's different levels in different towns for sure. And Keene is, as you pointed out, one of the worst in New Hampshire.
Oh, yeah.
The way it seems. So, anyway, it's great news that Keene Great, the new pho restaurant that made international headlines, is going to be able to have their name and their logo. In fact, the owner said this in an email to me, quote, "We stood our ground regarding our business name. And on the basis of the First Amendment, we defended it. The city cannot regulate content. Further, nowhere in the contract did it stipulate that we could not use that business name." Because, again, they had a contract signed back in April with the name Pho Keene Great right there on the contract.
Yeah.
So if it were an issue, they should have made an issue of it then. Because then you're not in a lease. You can be like, well, we're not going to sign that lease with you.
Well, maybe they didn't notice, but maybe did you cash like 6-7 months of rent checks with that same name on it too?
They must have.
They did. Yeah.
They had to have known.
Yeah.
And they had emails, according to the owner, they had emails in advance. So, when they're building the lease, somebody typed it into the lease, There's more coming up here in moments. You can share your thoughts on freedom of speech, freedom to do whatever business you want without having to ask permission. This is Free Talk Live.
You may need this herbal tea for relief right away, so write this down. DRMILLERS clinic.com. If you take meds, then suffer stomach distress, constipation, indigestion, acid reflux, and bloating, and nothing else helps, get Dr. Miller's Holy Tea or Super Holy Tea, a cleansing, detoxifying herbal tea now available at great rates direct from Dr. Miller's office. Call or click 888-660-7039 or DRMILLERS clinic.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Sling bow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of sling bow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. To me, an activist's calling is to actively work to advance a cause. The cause for which I work is personal freedom. I believe my life is best when I engage in voluntary interactions and self-government. I reject the idea that anyone else has a higher claim to my life or my body than I do. I see people who call themselves the government as a threat to my personal freedom. I realize you may feel differently, but my relationship with the people who call themselves the government is completely involuntary. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com. What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. The toll-free number for you to join us here is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. It's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm. And Free Talk Live is brought to you by AnyPay. It's a way for you to accept cryptocurrency at your point of sale. If you've got a real-life business and you want to accept things like Bitcoin or Dash or maybe even Zcash or Zen, you can do that through anypay.global. It's super easy to set up. There's no application. You just go and create your username and password, put in your crypto wallet addresses in the back end, and then load the app on your tablet or whatever device you have at your register. It's super easy, and whether you've got Android or iOS, there are ways to make that work for you, and it's fast. Anypay.global, get over there. It's, by the way, free. That's probably one of the most important points for a merchant to accept cryptocurrency. There's no fees that AnyPay charges you for that. That's anypay.global. As we go to your calls, your thoughts, you can bring up anything you want. It doesn't have to be about freedom of speech. Plus, on the way, I think some people want to talk about this Trump thing. And what about space billboards? The idea of actually you go outside at night, you look up, and there's a logo for, you name it, Walmart, Coca-Cola, whatever, right there, just floating up there in the sky, just a lit up logo. So that's an interesting idea, and I bet people feel very strongly about that, but you can join us here. So let's go to the phones, to the phone. John in Texas, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, how you doing? Is this me?
John, you are on the radio. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, yeah, how you doing? Hey, this is John down in Texas. Chris, hey, y'all. Hey, I love that kind of food. They should not have gave that lady any hassle about the name at all.
Right.
I tell you what, that's some good food.
Well, what if it's an actual brilliant plan on the part of the city manager who's not afraid to throw the city under the bus in order to help her new tenant? Maybe she knew that this would blow up.
Nice try. Nice try.
Yeah. No, I don't think
probably
so.
not.
Hey, but tell you what, Chris, Chris, guys. I tell you what I want to talk about.
Yeah, please.
Hey, this thing here with all of the folks, coming across the border from Honduras and all the other countries. Instead of, I'm compassionate, to people like that. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
But, I did some quick mathematics to figure this out. Here you go, guys. I made it easy.
All right.
Say the mom and the dad make $10, $11 an hour. They work full time. They got 3 kids. That's roughly about $38,000 a year.
Is that before
Like
taxes?
Nancy Pelosi. No, that's gross.
Gross. Okay.
$38,000 a year.
Okay, gotcha.
And so you got the rich folks that got a lot of money, like Nancy Pelosi and the folks that are far left that say, hey, let all of these great folks come over here that don't have a job, that immediately get on social services, and take $38,000 out of their income and sponsor 5 people.
I think that's a great idea. Why don't they do that? I mean, because they're always talking about all these different causes. Well, put your money where your mouth is. If you feel that there's a problem with Trump's immigration plan and you feel for these people, then sponsor 5 families. Pick your celebrity. Pick any of them who are coming out strongly. Do it voluntarily.
So when you say sponsor them, you mean like hire attorneys for them, hire immigration attorneys so they can,
I'm talking about pay for their livelihood.
Yeah.
Until they get taught a skill and be educated. That's why I used the $38,000. Say they made $10 a piece, the husband and the wife, and they got 3 kids. So these folks that want to let the majority of the folks let them come over like that without any skills, any way to do a job to make a good living, take $38,000 out of the millions and the hundreds of thousands that they already have.
So you're talking about creating a job? I'm a little bit lost here. Are you talking about creating jobs for these people, through some sort of charitable service?
I'm talking about they pay for their living, their food, their housing,
right,
and everything.
Oh, you're talking about just having
with a skill.
Just write a check.
Yeah, I
just
don't
write
think
a
that's
check.
the right. I don't think that's the right incentive.
Right now, where I do take issue with that, and first of all, if there's going to be charity and there's going to be helping people in need, I'd rather have it be voluntary than forced on everyone from the government. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I just don't feel that. A lot of people see this as just a threat. Man, they're terrified of this horde of Hondurans, which amounted to something less than 4,000. And if you look at that, that's 0.000 some odd percent.
Nothing.
I mean, it isn't. It really isn't. So I don't get that part. But I'd fully support a voluntary system like that if people want to help people out.
What I'm saying is for the people who don't want the money to come out of their taxes forcibly, for the people that agree with it, that have that kind of money, not to take care of them for all of their life, but when they get here, they're going to need medical, they're going to need housing,
right.
The kids are going to need dentists, they need to be sent to school.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with
$38,000 of your money.
Right, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a voluntarily funded startup program, right? Like something where you can kind of help somebody get a place in an affordable house, or give them some food when they get here if they're dirt poor or something like that. But if it's a privately run charity, then they're going to want to make sure that these families aren't staying on that dole forever. That they get out there and they learn the skills, like you're talking about. That they get out and they get a job. Learn how to speak English. These kinds of things could all be, to some extent, encouraged, but you've got to be careful that you're not creating a subsidy to bad behavior. And that's what you get when you have the government giving out welfare to people. Is as long as you know how to work the system, you can take advantage of the system. Whereas if it weren't a system that was coercive, if it was all voluntary, meaning these charities actually had to fund themselves through voluntary donations, then they have to be responsible for the money. And great call, John. Thanks for making it tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. They have to be responsible. Because if you're not responsible with money in a voluntary situation, then your funds can dry up. If people see you get $100 from somebody and you just kind of I don't know, throw it away on a bunch of crap that you didn't really need, and you only end up spending 10% on the recipients of this program, the people that are actually supposed to benefit from it, whether it's immigration or healthcare or whatever it is we're talking about.
Yeah.
Your donators,
right,
the contributors are going to see that and going to say, well, first of all, you better shape up or we're going to stop donating, or they're just going to stop donating. And the pressure is going to be on.
And I don't think that's would be the case if we did have some sort of a system. So immediately, not to go back to our previous story, but I think about the Vietnamese boat people. And maybe you're a little young to remember this, but I remember our church sponsored a family of Vietnamese people who came over. It was and it was done charitably. We helped out. Now, I was just kind of digging through to see what government systems and what government programs were in place during that. So there was sort of a formal the orderly departure program that helped settle refugees in the United States, but that it wasn't covering all their expenses.
What the church raised, you mean, back in the day?
No. I mean, the government actually had some government programs that helped settle people, but it seems to me like the bulk of the actual money was more driven by charity and things like that, and that to me makes a little bit more sense. Having government in it at all doesn't make sense to me.
And the reason why you don't want the government involved is because, well, first of all, there's corruption, obviously. When you give people power over money and influence, they're going to wield it. And they're going to wield it to benefit their friends and punish their enemies. And that's the way of the world. It doesn't matter if you put the good guy in, whoever that is, you're red or you're blue, whichever you happen to be a fan of. If you put your guy in, oh, well, he's a businessman. He's going to come in there and shape things. No, it never works out like that. I mean, look at Romney Care, right? Great example. Businessman gets in there, creates government-mandated health insurance in Massachusetts.
He did.
And
Romney Care.
It's just power. It's just the way it works. It corrupts people. And, of course, also attracts the corruptible and corrupted. The toll-free number here tonight, if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And you can take control of the airwaves here live. Saturday edition of Free Talk Live continues. Plus, our Discord server over at discord.lrn.fm.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynavite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Bags under the eyes, crow's feet, fine lines, and wrinkles are things adults complain about as they age. Now, there's Instantly Ageless. It works in minutes and is great for men and women.
I've probably noticed in the past 5 years that my eyes have gained a lot of fine lines, wrinkles, my crow's feet have gotten deeper. Wow. I was hoping for 5 years, but that's like what my eyes looked like 10 years ago.
That is really cool. Wrinkle gone?
It's easy. Just put it on your finger and go. Now I wish I had more down here because I can still see one wrinkle. It's bugging me.
I am a little bit emotional. Turning 40, I didn't think would be a big deal to me, but that looks like the me that I feel like inside instead of what I see when I look in the mirror.
Try Instantly Ageless today at GCNlife.com. That's GCNlife.com. 30-day money-back guarantee and preferred price discount at GCNlife.com. That's GCNlife.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. Live Saturday edition of the show. You may dial toll free to join us here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, there is the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. There are 4 of them right there for you over at our Discord server, discord.lrn.fm. With you here in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
By the way, Free Talk Live brought to you by the Route 101 local goods only internet thing that you can order right now, or have you expanded? Is it just t-shirts at the moment for...
And hats.
And now hats.
Hats.
For Pho Keene Great. That is the name of a pho noodle soup business that has yet to open here in Keene, but I expect it will at least, hopefully it'll do very, very well. It's certainly gotten a lot of publicity. It's been international headlines about this restaurant as the city of Keene threatened them over the name, claiming it was offensive. And now City of Keene has backed down. This blew up into international news. You were the official place where people could go and get the T-shirt for Pho Keene Great.
We're the only place. And, of course, the owners are busy trying to chase around all the copycats that quickly showed up.
Well, you're not the only place.
Yeah.
It was so big that other people were essentially copying, the shirt.
Within a couple days.
Probably inferior, I would imagine, because only one person has that original graphic, and that's
right.
Or 2 people, the guy who's at the print shop and the lady who owns the place. So
yeah, the graphic designer, he's a really nice guy, and he wasn't expecting this either. But I just think it's it's a cool design, but you're right. It's
he figured it would hang on the restaurant, be maybe in another couple places. Now it's draped over well over 1,000 people who have ordered it from as far away as rattle off some locations. I know you told me Australia and Afghanistan,
England. Internationally, that's kind of what we've done so far, but we've had a couple in each one.
That's pretty cool.
It's kind of cool. Afghanistan, I know we've got to be close to 50 states because I heard Hawaii came in a day or 2 ago, and then
Alaska.
Today we had an Alaska order. So
that's awesome.
So that's all really cool, and it's good that this, a good portion of this goes to supporting a small business been fighting.
Well, it's going to support 2 small
government.
businesses. It's going to support the restaurant,
right.
Keene Great, and your business, which is Route 101 Local Goods.
Right. But we all know that businesses, when somebody has success, then it breeds success elsewhere. So
everybody succeeds.
Yeah, there's also that T-shirt printing company who's going nuts. But yeah, I know that Isabel, they thought 100 shirts would be plenty to, make it through like their grand opening. And
So you do have
sorry,
you've got women's sizes, right, and also just kind of unisex T-shirts.
Yep, and unisex we just announced 3X and 4X, so those are available. We had a lot of bigger guys, bigger people that were interested in them, and so we quickly filled that.
Very cool. Route101gifts.com. It's right there. Just scroll down. You'll see the items there on the main page. It's route101gifts.com if you want to get your own shirt. I mean, they may not be available forever, so who knows? Get yours now while you still can. All right, so back to the phones, to the fun. We got Doug in Virginia. Doug, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Chris.
Hey, how are y'all tonight?
Hey, what's on your mind?
I was going to make a good point about President Trump and the shutdown. I'm not from. I mean, if you're familiar with the RRF program, reduction in force, senior executives that are in this government shutdown, they can't be fired or furloughed or laid off, but after 30 days, they can prove that they're not essential can be coincided with a reduction in force. So basically, after 30 days, President Trump can invoke the reduction in force.
What?
Get rid of these.
Yeah, but let me tell you what happens in Washington when these things happen, because I've been through government shutdowns when I was in the military. I went through 5 different government shutdowns when I was a consultant doing computer work and things like that. I went through a couple of them then. What government shutdown means, and when people start bringing up riffing people, reduction in force. Right. What that means is that every cabinet department down there is packed full to the gills today, in spite of the snow, because they're all justifying why they are essential.
But wait, didn't you say
that's what they do?
Okay, but I'm sure they do. I'm sure they will, and the unions are going to come in there and fight for them, no doubt about it. It's probably going to get ugly. But let me see if I understood what you said, Doug, because this is the first. You seemed familiar with it, Chris, but I've not heard of this before. So you said that after 30 days of a shutdown, if somebody hasn't been going to work, that Trump, as the head of the administrative or executive branch, can just go ahead and say, well, since you haven't been working and we're still here and you're still sitting at home, we can just go ahead and consider you reduced. We're going to make you a reduction in force, and then they don't have to, they're fired, basically. Is that what you're saying?
Laid off. That's right. Correct.
Yeah.
And they put non-essential, and their function is somewhat. A perfect example of this was during the Clinton administration. They came in and cleaned house of the travel agency. Remember that? They took them out in a van and unloaded the travel agency, would put their hand-picked people in there. And Clinton's got away with it. They laid those people off and trumped up some kind of bogus charges against them, and then put their own people in the travel agency.
So is this reduction in force thing, is this part of a contract? Is this under, like, when you sign up to work for the federal government, is this in all the fine print saying they can do this to you?
Well, yeah, here's where I want to hop in, and I just want to say that this is one of the least reliable sources I've ever quoted on air, but I'm going to go with Snopes.
Okay.
But Snopes says it's mostly false.
Damn it.
Yeah, I know.
Damn it.
I know.
Because it was like we're coming up on 30 days, right?
I know. We're just sitting here like,
wasn't Friday day number 28 of the shutdown?
Just move all the moving vans to DC. It'd be great.
I think Friday was day number 28. And so next week is going to be their second paycheck that they're going to miss, because they missed not this Friday, not yesterday, but a week ago Friday was the first paycheck that they missed. So we're coming up on 30.
And by coincidence, the people he can lay off too will be like $150 billion, over $200 billion with the agencies and the buildings that he used to lease out to do these people. So by the way, the $5 billion for the wall is chump change. And look at the money they'll save by laying these employees off.
if they can. Now you're saying, Chris, Snopes is saying it's mostly a myth. There's probably some layer of truth to this. Do we know what the truth is and where the myth begins?
Federal statute requires agencies to take reduction in force action against employees who have been furloughed for 30 days or more, but that only applies in administrative furloughs. Quote, a planned event by an agency which is designed to absorb reductions necessitated. Thank you. Yeah. By downsizing, reducing funding, lack of work, or any budget situation other than a lapse in appropriations. So it seems
so it doesn't apply, or
well, that's what this is kind of indicating, that because that is one of those things that would say, you can't do that. You can do it for administrative purposes.
So wait, that doesn't qualify as administrative? when the administration won't approve the budget. They're saying budget's exempted from that, so therefore...
Well, actually, yeah, they are sort of saying that it does because it does a budgetary situation.
Yeah, I got lost in the explanation.
Yeah,
so
I know.
Wasn't real clear on that.
Yeah, I'm just going to say I'm going to research this more because if it's true, I know what I want for Christmas.
Well, he could do it a lot sooner than Christmas. He could do it probably by Monday.
My birthday's in February. God, what a great birthday present.
Once the week starts. Doug, great call, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Anything else you want to share?
That was it. I think you might remember me for a few weeks ago when I called in about the posse comitatus statute, and I won that argument, but I didn't get a chance to rub it in.
Thanks for the call, Doug. Appreciate it.
Thanks, man.
Toll-free number, everybody who is in an argument thinks they won it, from what I can tell. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. He's David in New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Rush Limbaugh was also talking about that on his show, and he was making a show of trying to shut the caller up from letting his listeners know that could be done, at least for now.
So wait, you're saying Rush Limbaugh did not want his listeners to know about the reduction in force concept?
Yeah, he had a caller call in, and just like your caller did just now, and Rush made a big show of going, shh, don't, quiet, don't, like not letting people know.
Don't let him in on the secret kind of thing. I see. Well, we're in D.C. right now, and we're on the air in D.C. Thanks for the call, David. Appreciate it. On the air in D.C. for the second night. Nice. We're doing Saturday nights there. I said we were on all 3 hours, but we actually get a fourth hour in D.C.
I saw that. That surprised me.
So I think they're grabbing an hour from our Friday show and throwing that in at the very end. So you actually get 4 hours of Free Talk Live, because we are actually doing this show 7 nights a week. So if you do like what you're hearing, you can always find us over at freetalklive.com. I got the rest of the statement here from the owner of Keene Great, talking about how they stood their ground when the city of Keene was coming at them because of their name, calling it offensive. They said further here, the government cannot demand or require us to do anything that supersedes our baseline rights. We're deeply grateful to everyone that offered and gave their support and appreciate all opinions and input, even those that were offended by our business name, which was hardly anybody, from what I could tell.
Nah.
Unless you just hate fun and have no sense of humor whatsoever. The toll-free number to join us here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Take control of the airwaves, Free Talk Live.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Introducing Reveal from GCNlife.com. Beverly Hills dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman invented Reveal, which contains polypeptides with natural botanicals and no parabens, sulfates, silicones, or dyes for a salon-quality hair growth product. Reveal. Here's Dr. Newman.
I have treated a lot of patients who lose their hair and they lose their confidence. We've created a unique set of polypeptides, which we call HPT6. The HPT6 contains the polypeptides from 6 different plants. The scalp infusion treatment should be used on wet or dry scalp. The Reveal hair care system is designed to be used for men and women alike.
Get Reveal at GCNlife.com with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So try Reveal today at GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637. Plus a discount up to 25% off for Reveal at GCNlife.com or 844-443-6637.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it! You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for the weekend of January 19th to 20th, 2019. Silver is trading at $15.35 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,281 per ounce. Smart cash is trading at 1.2 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $3,728. Antiwar.com reports following an hour-and-a-half meeting between President Trump and Kim Jong-chol, the second summit between Trump and North Korea's Kim Jong-un has been announced, tentatively scheduled for late February. The White House said that the meeting will take place, but the exact date and time will be disclosed to the public at some time in the future. It's not clear if those details have been worked out privately yet. Trump and Kim held their first summit in Singapore on June 12th. This historical summit was extremely successful, leading to an announced deal on nuclear disarmament. Since then, mounting U.S. sanctions have raised tensions, and U.S. officials have complained North Korea hasn't met all U.S. demands. Either way, the White House says there will be no sanctions relief or any dialing back of U.S. pressure in the lead-up to the talks. North Korea's hope to reach a peace deal ending the generations-long Korean War and progress toward normalization are major goals, and it will be difficult for President Trump to convince them to speed up denuclearization without getting at least some of that in return.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
UPI reports freezing cold temperatures and heavy snow are expected across the Midwest and Northeast this weekend, weather that canceled hundreds of flights on Friday. About 100 million people are under a winter storm watch, warning, or advisory. Cities along the Great Lakes are also contending with possible lake-effect snow, which could increase their snow totals. Boston and New York City saw light snowfalls on Friday. By late Saturday, freezing rain is expected with as many as 6 inches of snow and sleet. As of Friday afternoon, more than 11,000 flights in the United States were delayed and 771 were canceled. A second round of storms associated with the same system is expected to exit the Rocky Mountains and travel to the Midwest over the weekend. Kansas City and St. Louis, which both received major snowfall last weekend, expect less accumulation this time, but strong wind gusts and blowing and drifting snow. Milwaukee and Chicago could get up to 9 inches of snow according to forecasters. Snowfall was expected to begin late Friday in Chicago with increase overnight. Buffalo, which has not yet endured a major snowfall this winter, is expected to see strong winds and snow beginning Saturday. About 6 inches are expected in the metro area and as many as 16 inches elsewhere in western New York State. The snow will be followed by extreme cold for the eastern United States. Arctic air is expected to cover the area as far south as Florida, cooling most of the continental United States with below average temperatures.
You can support FPP Radio by shopping online. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates, like Namecheap and Amazon, at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. Or you can shop directly from FPP with Bitcoin in the Bitcoin store. That's shop.fppradio.com.
Reuters reports former Chicago police officer Jason Van Dyke was sentenced on Friday to nearly 7 years in prison for shooting Laquan McDonald to death in 2014 in a landmark case that highlighted racial tensions in America's third biggest city. After a jury convicted Van Dyke of second-degree murder last fall, Cook County Circuit Court Judge Vincent Gauguin sentenced him to 81 months in prison and said he would have to serve at least 2 years before being eligible for parole. Activists wanted a longer sentence. Van Dyke could have received up to 20 years in prison for second-degree murder and up to 30 years for each of 16 counts of aggravated battery, 1 count for each shot he fired at 17-year-old McDonald. During sentencing, Van Dyke sat expressionless, unshaven, and wearing a yellow-orange jail uniform. In a statement he read before the sentence, Van Dyke said he was scared of McDonald and called the shooting the worst day of my life.
You can support FPP Radio by joining the Fans program. To learn more or to join the Fans program, visit fans.fppradio.com.
This has been FPP Radio News, online at fppradio.com.
Hailing it as the industry's most innovative product to date, global cosmetics brand Maybelline released its long-awaited Ideal Woman Rubber Mask this week, a thick latex facial covering worn over the head in lieu of makeup.
By simply yanking it over your face, you can instantly achieve a fresh look that conforms to Western ideals of beauty. Essentially, you can just roll out of bed, stretch the latex urethane rubber beauty mask over your natural face, and boom, you're ready to start your day. Forget concealer, powder, blush, or mascara. Now you can achieve a look that adheres to the conventional standard of feminine perfection in seconds.
It's incredible. You immediately see the difference. The very first time I tried it on, my pores were minimized, my skin tone was more even, and all of the idiosyncratic little wrinkles, physical imperfections, and tiny irregularities that make my face unique were erased.
I don't spend a lot of time on makeup anyway, but now all I need to do is yank this thing over my head, and that's it. I'm conventionally attractive. I mean, this gives me so much more time to find an outfit that makes my body look thin and socially acceptable.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll free and join us. The number 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've also got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. You can bring up whatever is on your mind. We're going to continue with your phone calls here. It's Ian and Chris in the studio. But on the way, apparently Trump has made a proposal to end this so-called government shutdown after almost an entire month. Right. At this point, he's making a proposal. We'll tell you more about that and why it's actually making some of the conservative commentators upset, which I just enjoy seeing. So we'll get into that. Coming up here, your calls and thoughts. First, we go to the phones, to the fun. We got Gene, the Christian anarchist. Gene, you got sounds like you got a radio turned up. You may want to turn that down. That way we can hear you on the air. Gene?
Okay.
Yes. Go ahead.
You hear me?
Yeah, it sounds like you might have your headphones turned up a little bit loud because I am hearing I'm hearing us come back a little bit. But go ahead and get your thoughts out if you can.
Okay. Listen, I'm calling about a video I just posted on Twitter. Larkin Rose, of course. He's everybody knows Larkin Rose.
No, I suspect most people don't know who Larkin Rose is, actually.
Well, I mean, everybody in the studio and those of us on the Discord.
Well, Larkin Rose is a libertarian commentator. He's libertarian probably is not the right word. He probably would describe himself as an anarchist or maybe a voluntarist.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what term or how he's describing himself these days. Longtime commentator. He wrote books. A lot of books. One of them actually was about not paying income tax.
Yep.
He ended up going to federal prison. I think it was like a minimum security kind of situation for a couple of years, in which he used the time to write another book or so, something like that. Great writer. He wrote The Greatest Superstition, which is all about how sort of the belief in authority, this concept of authority, is a ridiculous superstition, and it was really good. Nice short book, easy to read. So, what were you calling about Larkin Rose, Gene, the Christian anarchist?
Well, I posted this on Twitter, and I want to challenge all of the listeners to watch this video. It's on YouTube. Just look for Message to the Voting Cattle, Larkin Rose. And it really shakes up the fact that the government or the Goonerment is actually a religion. And if you could, as far as Christians go, if you actually believe there's a devil,
the Goonerment is the devil.
And he really puts that out on that video. If you watch that video and you're a Christian or a Jew or whatever you claim to be your religion is, you're going to see that he makes the perfect argument that what you're doing when you're putting your government above everything else is you're actually in a cult. You're worshiping the devil as in the form of the Goonerment. And you need to analyze that. And you need to take a look at what you're really doing when you put that.
Yeah, why is it the devil? I mean, can you kind of explain that?
Well, because all evil is basic. We blame the devil for all the evil, and if there is a devil, he certainly is encapsulated in what all governments throughout history have ever done, which is murder and rob and destroy, and basically to the benefit of a few selected individuals, a few powerful people. This has been the same story for 8,000 years. And the one thing that we have today that might make a difference, if we can protect it, is the internet, because the internet allows things like Larkin Rose to get those ideas out.
Right.
That those things can be published in a way that everybody in the world can see it. And even if you're in China, which I just was, you can use a VPN to see those things. It's a powerful tool, and I hope that using this tool results in liberty flourishing.
And what is it that one would search for again to see this video that you're recommending? I think it's like 20 minutes, right?
Called, Message to the Voting Cattle by Larkin Rose.
Well, and I would say thank you for the call tonight, Gene, because there's just too much talkback coming from your line for whatever reason. I don't know if your headphones are turned up too loud or whatever, but appreciate that. I don't think that, and again, without having seen the video, I mean, I generally know Larkin Rose. I have read his book, The Greatest Superstition, great book. I love the idea of letting people know that authority, this concept of authority, is a bunch of BS, that humans, if we're all born equal, that we don't have so-called authority, the ability to, I mean, essentially tell somebody else what to do, right? And have usually the force, threat of force backing the telling of that thing. Well, I say you do this or else, right? And having people believe that that's somehow legitimate. That's authority, right? That's sort of the belief that a stranger telling you what to do, like with this restaurant we talked about.
Right.
Some lady calling herself a city manager at this organization calling itself the City of Keene says, I don't think that's a good sign. I don't like that name. It's offensive.
I'm offended.
Yeah.
I really like where Gene comes from in this stuff, and I appreciate a lot of the thoughts that Larkin Rose did, because I'm from another generation, and I grew up with a lot of people who I would definitely consider themselves Christians, and they want to be good Christians. And here I come, and I want to talk about liberty, and I want to talk about libertarian ideals. What I've found really effective, and what I continue to do, is to argue the fact that if you are a Christian, if you believe in God, libertarianism is the closest thing to that. It's certainly not what the conservatives today are preaching. It's certainly not war, and it's certainly not what the progressives are doing, which says that everyone must be taken care of by the state, and basically being made a vassal. I really do believe that, and I like that line of thinking. I keep trying to come up with ways that will break through that sort of boundary people have to discuss something that it goes against their worldview.
Well, and whether you believe in the devil or not, or you believe that there's some sort of reason, whatever that is, that people get terrible ideas of violence against their fellow neighbor, whatever it is that leads people to conclusions that it's okay to go ahead and use violence to get your way, or the threat of violence, which is basically everything that backs government. It's violence, or the threat of violence, that backs every single government program, every government demand, every government order, every government license, every government everything. It's backed by the threat of violence. And if you disbelieve me, well, then just try disobeying. Try doing what they tell you not to do. Try opening a business without asking their permission first.
And I've just never found a line of thinking that agrees so much with my moral compass. That's
the idea
that's
of
the difference.
Don't use violence on your neighbor.
Right. Yeah. And where is that most prominently written? It is in our religious tomes, and it's not just Christianity.
This is almost universal.
It's a universal idea, and that's why I do believe that that's part of why I fight for liberty, is because it agrees with my morality.
Yeah, it's moral, and further, it's also practical. Now, some people argue that liberty, the idea of leaving your neighbors alone and not threatening them, could be inefficient in some ways. Some people believe that you must force everybody to participate for the so-called social good. But of course, the question is, who decides what is good?
Right. And does everybody agree that this is all good? Of course not.
No, nobody agrees. That's why we have this, schism in the United States and various different divisions between people, even within one side or the other. And again, I am, red, blue. I don't believe in all that stuff. I think politicians are all bad. I think all of the entire state structure is completely bad. It is rotten to the core. And again, whether you believe in, that it's the devil behind it or not, I can understand why a Christian would see that. And Gene is the Christian anarchist, that last caller. Because if the devil is this voice that calls to people to use violence, to do immoral things, then the government is that voice. And it's so well camouflaged. It's so well spoken, and it's so persuasive to people.
Just
to think,
like in the Bible.
Right, to think that, it's not violence. We're just voting.
We're helping you.
It's not violence when the government tells you that you can't have a sign that says Keene Great, the name of a Keene business that's now finally going to be able to open up because the government was made to look like fools in the mainstream media. Oh, it's not violence. Really? Well, what happens if you go ahead and open your doors and hang your sign anyway? What is the government going to do about it? It's Free Talk Live.
You want to know the 37 items you must have to survive a crisis? Then I've got some good news for you. Former CIA officer and New York Times best-selling author Jason Hansen is now giving listeners a free copy of his book, The Escape Bag Blueprint, 37 Items You Must Have to Survive a Crisis. You can claim your copy at freeescapebook.com. Don't delay. Jason reveals the guns, knives, flashlights, and water filters that could save your life in an economic collapse or grid-down event. Get your free book today, freeescapebook.com. freeescapebook.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer-term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash also features smart rewards, a price stabilization mechanism, and a way to encourage long-term holding. Long-term holders are key to the project's success. You can earn smart rewards on any address for which you hold the private keys, which holds at least 1,000 smart for 1 month and does not make any outgoing transactions during that time. Smart rewards are distributed every 47,500 blocks to all eligible addresses. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free, at apps.lrn.fm.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live Saturday edition of the show. You dial in toll free to join us right here. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Trump apparently has made a proposal to end the government shutdown, and he has angered some of his own conservative base with this, which is the kind of thing I like see Trump. I like seeing him do that. He's been really entertaining, and he's grown on me quite a bit. I mean, he was always entertaining, but it just keeps getting better.
Going back to like the first weeks.
Yeah.
Remember, it was like a month or two in, and we were like, my God, it's like every day. Every
Somebody
single
gets
day,
fired
there's
or
something new. There's
whatever.
some new scrap going on. We love it.
Yep. So Bitcoin.com, by the way, is bringing you Free Talk Live this hour. It is your premier source for everything Bitcoin related. Bitcoin.com can help you choose a Bitcoin wallet. They can help you buy Bitcoin and show you where you can spend your Bitcoin. By the way, you can buy less than a Bitcoin. So if you've heard about Bitcoin and you think, wow, this sounds really cool, or maybe you don't know anything about it yet, but you've heard about the price and you think, oh my God, it's too expensive. I can't afford a Bitcoin. It's $4,000, $3,600, I think today, $3,600.
Like yep.
For one Bitcoin, I can afford that. Well, actually, it goes down to 8 decimal points. So you can divide a Bitcoin down way further than you can divide a dollar.
Way below a penny.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to get $20 worth of Bitcoin, that's no problem. Just learn more at Bitcoin.com. They got the Bitcoin.com Academy there, where you can learn the basics about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. You can also read the latest news at Bitcoin.com. They've also have a Bitcoin forum on which you can engage with the community as we continue here. Ian and Chris in the studio. To the phones, to the fun. We are with David now in San Francisco. David, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Oh, howdy. What surprises me most about the government shutdown is how people are being conned right in front of their faces.
What do you mean?
So if you went down to McDonald's and you ordered a burger and the guy just stared at you and didn't, he took your money, but he didn't give you a burger.
That's probably happened to a few people at McDonald's.
Oh, yeah, clearly. And so in the case of Trump, he's our employee. He's not supposed to be making side deals on our
What's
dime.
the evidence that he's your employee?
That the election for the presidency.
But wait, you didn't sign an employment agreement with this guy, right?
Well, how does the swearing-in process happen? How does
Sure, they have a bunch of magic words. They stand up in front of a camera and they put a big show on. They put a big show on for you, but you don't get to tell him what to do.
Are you pretending that the president isn't supposed to do the will of the people?
Oh my God, where's the evidence that any president... Wait. David, where is the evidence that any president has ever done the will of the people?
Mm-hmm. So this is what I'm talking about.
How about
He's
an example?
laughing at you right in front of your face.
How do you
right
determine...
in front of your
I'm
face.
talking
He's
about
laughing
Obama,
at you.
too. David,
He's
I'm also talking about Obama and Bush and Clinton and all the rest of them before it. How do you determine what the will of the people is, number one? I mean, let alone whether or not it's their responsibility to actually do that. How would you know? Like, how do you, David, know what the will of the people is?
He's taken a 27-day
Can you answer a question?
Right in front of our face.
Can you answer
right
a question?
In front of our face.
Do you just have talking points?
I mean, give us an example. Give us an example how Bush is not doing.
America is set up in a tripartite government, right? You got the judicial, the executive, and the legislative.
Yes.
Right. So executive runs the government. The judicial decides whether he's running it properly, and the legislative measures out the money for him to write the checks.
Well,
he is supposed to be writing checks to 800,000 employees,
Okay.
and he's sitting on his ass all day long and tweeting, sitting on his ass on the toilet tweeting.
I don't know if he does that, but really, I mean, what these people in Congress, the legislative branch, 1/3 of this 3-legged stool, which is what our government is.
Stool's right.
The legislative branch, they're the ones who are supposed to be telling.
Inspected?
Come on, man. Let the man make a point. Go ahead, Chris.
No, I'm just saying they're the ones that are making sure that the will of the people is brought forward. So I question whether any of it does.
The will of the people to have food inspections.
Hold on. The role of the executive is to enact the actions that the legislature has brought forward, the will of the people. Now, one could argue that if the will of the people is to pay people in government, then yeah, maybe you're right. But
How about
again,
air traffic controllers? Is it the will of the people that we have air traffic controllers?
How about this for air traffic controllers that let the airports hire them?
Ooh,
that's great.
No, because it's our property. It's our property, and there's no reason to give a fat cat contract and give him cost overruns for running our property.
No,
we the people can run our own lives instead of a bunch of cronies.
What is your property? The airport itself?
Dude, if you don't think that America doesn't own the air, own the water, own the shoreline...
What does it mean when you say America? Do you mean the plot of land?
Well, it's not we the people when you say it like that.
Well, if you want to abandon it, that's your problem.
If you actually own something, if you own a thing, you have control over it.
Right.
If I own a house, I have the ability to go in that house.
Yep.
If you own the airport traffic control tower thing that they have, or that thing that they all hang out in and do their job, you should be able to go in there.
Right.
Why don't you try that next time you're at the airport? Since you own it. I'm going to bring David back here because he was just continuing to talk. I wanted to make sure he could hear that. David?
You're not impressing me. Trump is a slumlord.
I'm not here to impress you, David.
Trump is organized crime.
Yes.
Trump
yes,
is
he is.
organized crime.
But you couldn't see that Barack Obama was as well.
We're in agreement on that.
Yeah. See, that's the thing, David. David's been calling the show for a long time.
I know.
And you could not see that Barack Obama was also organized crime. So you are correct that Donald Trump is organized crime, but so were all of his predecessors.
So let me ask you this, David. How about government shutdowns under Democratic presidents? How about government shutdowns under Obama? Government shutdowns under Clinton?
Shutdown under Newt Gingrich, right?
Newt Gingrich was never president.
Well, I understand that, but he did it from Congress.
Well, this is true, and one could argue.
If you're going to try to say that Bill Clinton shut down government, you're a liar.
It's only the Republicans who can shut down the government.
Is it only Republicans that can shut down government? Come on, it takes two sides.
Look at history.
What you have is two sides.
You can lie to this generation, but you look at history.
Dude, I'm so much older than these generations. What I'm saying is when appropriations are not passed, that requires two parties. You have the Congress, which has failed to put something
Was Newt
forward.
Gingrich organized crime too?
Yes.
Okay, good.
God, they're all organized crime.
Yes. Organized crime loves shutting down government.
No, organized crime loves government because the government is organized crime. Thank you for the call, David. The thing is, the difference between, I loved Harry Brown's quote about this back, I think, in 2000 when he was running for president for the Libertarian Party, that the government's just the mafia that flies flags in front of its offices.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
The mafia normally doesn't want you to know where they are. They don't want you to know where their hangouts and offices and wherever it is their warehouses are. But the government doesn't care. You can know where they are because you believe in them. You believe that there's something else besides what they are, which is the most successful organized criminal enterprise known to man, probably,
in our history.
At this point. More coming up here. Toll-free number if you want to join us, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Complement your health with hemp-derived cannabinoid oil. We've always believed that the closer to Earth, the better it is for our bodies. Our hemp-derived cannabinoid oil is phytocannabinoid rich, full spectrum, and organically grown. Finally, hemp made easy, clean, and effective. GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203. That's right, we cut through the red tape. It's now available at GCNhemp.com or call 877-878-4203.
At WolfHillAmmo.com, we love shotguns. We offer the best specialty shotgun ammo on the market, including our defensive combo packs for home and retreat. Our less lethal combo is good for animal control, the 4-legged kind and 2-legged. When lethal force is necessary, reach for our Stop 'em, Drop 'em or our home defense combos. These 5-round packs include different heavy hitters to protect your loved ones. Visit WolfHillAmmo.com to see our great prices on these combo packs and other specialty shotgun ammo rounds. WolfHillAmmo.com.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you are invited here to dial in toll-free and take control of the airwaves. You can bring up anything that you want. We're getting the fundamentals in here tonight, Chris. This is like, the basics of... hello. It's not your government.
Well, it's sort of a civics lesson there, too.
Yeah, it's not we the people. It's actually a criminal enterprise. And it was always a criminal enterprise. It didn't just become a criminal enterprise when Trump took over. It was a criminal enterprise for as long as any of us have been breathing.
Yep. I would agree with that.
Yeah. And the brilliance of the state is how they have convinced people otherwise. And you heard the guy that was on the phone. We're going to continue with the calls here, but he did bring up this idea of the will of the people. And this is, that's sort of one of the phrases you'll hear along with, well, we're the government.
In our true democracy.
Well, it's provable that you're not the government, because you're not, unless you are, in which case you're listening to us in D.C. or wherever. But most of the people listening are not the government. And when you vote for these people, you're not really voting for any meaningful choice. People realized that in 2016, didn't they? When they had to choose between, or they felt like they had to choose between Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. I mean, a lot of people didn't really much care for that particular choice. It's not like that was your will.
Wasn't much of a choice.
It wasn't your will to put those people in there. You didn't have any real discretion or decision-making ability to decide who ran for the candidacies of, let's say, U.S. representative or state representative or whatever. And how many of them have actually spoken to you? How would they know, based on your vote, what your will is? Because some people vote to protect, right? They vote for the least of the evils. They know they're voting for somebody who's evil, but they're voting for the one that they find less detestable.
Sorry, Hillary. That was Donald Trump in your case? Right.
So, people who were voting for Trump, many of them were voting because he wasn't Hillary.
Right.
People were voting for Hillary, voting because she wasn't Trump. That's not an endorsement of their platform. Other people are maybe single-issue voters, where they're like, well, Trump's real good on guns. Maybe he's not, but they thought he was better on one issue than Hillary, so they voted on that issue. Or some people voted for Hillary for one issue. Does that mean that everything that person does is the will of the people? How many times have politicians, regardless of party, done things that you've cheered for? That you're like, yeah, that's a great idea.
Hold on.
Oh, I just love losing more of my freedom. I love having more money taken from me by these unaccountable bureaucrats who do whatever they want with it, and then you can't do anything about it.
And that's the point I want to make here, too, is that we talk about elections and our will of our people, and, we get to vote. As a country, we select, 537 people every year. We vote for a president, a vice president. We vote for members of Congress and Senate, not all at once, but you know what I mean? You've got about, 650-ish people that we actually elect. How many people are shut down right now? What's the number everybody keeps throwing out? 800,000 people out of work?
It's a fraction of how
it is a fraction. If you were to say that, okay, we actually project our will of the people through our elected officials, then what about the independent actions of those other 800,000 bureaucrats that go to work every day? The guy that says that, no, you can't ship a pregnant clam to Albania because that's a regulation. You know what I mean? It's all this unwritten stuff, the stuff that was never voted on by your representatives to represent the will of you, but it's there still. It has force of law. You didn't vote for that.
Nope.
You didn't ask for it, but it gets done every day.
But you put up with it, because to not put up with it means you go to prison.
It's not much of a choice there.
You don't want to do what they tell you to? Well, they got a nice cold cell waiting for you, and they'll keep you there as long as they need to get their lesson across.
Yeah.
And the lesson is, you do what you're told, or else. That's how the government works. And it's how the government works in the United States, and it's how the government works in Japan, and it's how the government works in, you name the place, wherever it is, all around the planet.
Well, to be clear, I'm not bashing the U.S. government. Yep. I'm bashing all governments.
Of them. Absolutely.
And that's what people have a hard time wrapping their head around.
They do. But, it's the message has to get out there, and that's one of the things we do here on Free Talk Lives. We tell it like it is. Now, you don't like it? That's fine. We got phone lines. You can call in. Phones are loaded up right now. We're going back to them. Numbers here are 855-450-FREE, like Freedom. Also, the Discord on-air call-in line rooms are available to you as well. If you want to sound really great on the air, almost like you're sitting here in the studio, get on our Discord server. You can also chat with other listeners there anytime you want over at discord.lrn.fm. There's text chat, and sometimes they get into the voice chat rooms with each other, which is cool. And it's free. So discord.lrn.fm. Let's go to Pete. He's in Virginia. Pete, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Chris.
Hey, guys. Thank you for having my call.
Sure.
That last caller, I don't know where you find these guys, but
San Francisco.
Obviously, you were saying, I believe you're... Well, there you go. But I believe you were saying that, if Newt Gingrich had done it back then, one could argue that Nancy Pelosi is now responsible for it from Congress. I believe was the point you were trying to make. It kind of leads into, I actually work for the federal government, and I was having a conversation with one of my coworkers, not like in a police type or bureaucratic situation, just more of a construction worker that happens to be working for the government.
Are you a contractor, or do you actually have a government paycheck?
I actually have a government paycheck.
Huh, okay.
But it's like, I don't really want to.
That's fine.
Anyway,
you don't have to tell us
this
where.
guy was-
That's fine.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, this guy was pretty much saying how, Obama never had a fair shake because, basically nobody wanted to help him out because of his ethnicity. And then, Trump is killing our economy, this, that, and the other. My point is, just like the last caller too, how on earth do you combat a government that is essentially organized crime when the majority of the entire population of the country is willfully ignorant? How do you turn things around? How do you start, making things better? I don't agree with.
Yeah, it's a great question. How do you combat ignorance? And the answer is with information. And here we are now in the information age. We're approaching 2020. We're in 2019, and it's going to be 2020 soon. And we've all got internet connections if we want them. For the most part, there are very few people in the United States who can't access the internet if they really want to. So there's a lot of info out there. It's easier now to get ideas into people's heads. The gatekeepers, the traditional gatekeepers, they're dying off. There have been so many different examples of this. And I mean, look, we're on traditional old media, right? We're a broadcast show. We're also available online, of course, podcast and live stream, and we're on a satellite feed as well. So we're in a lot of different places. But old media like newspapers, television, radio, these things are slowly dying off. Newspapers quickly dying off. Magazines quickly dying off. Over the last decade plus, newspaper subscriptions have gone down dramatically. The pass-around rate and all that stuff, it's gone down. And newspapers have sometimes just gone out of business entirely. Others have been sold off at pennies on the dollar to the highest bidder. Others that are still kind of making it, they've cut back. Some of them, they've cut back on the size of the paper, on the thickness of it, on the actual width of the paper itself, and the number of pages. Cutting back all of those things, raising prices, and all this. At the same time, putting up paywalls on their website so people can't actually read the news without handing over some money. And most people, they're used to not having to pay for things on the web, so they probably won't do that. And so we're watching them as they die off. The magazine business is consolidating. Their printers are going out of business, so there are fewer and fewer options there. So it's the old media is having a tough time staying relevant. Look at like TV stations. Sometimes they'll do reports, or media websites will do reports on what Twitter is saying. There's whole articles.
This president, that's most of the news.
But not even just the president.
No,
I mean,
I agree.
sometimes it's like, here's what people are saying. This is like sometimes a headline. Here's what people are saying on Twitter about whatever thing. And
something went viral or whatnot.
Yeah.
Right.
So like the media is now reporting on the internet, meaning not they're placing their reports on the internet. They're doing that, but reporting on what the internet does and what's coming out of the internet. So, like, it's all changing. The ways that you can get your message out, and if the message is what we're talking about, to counter the idea of the state itself, of coercive government, that message can get out now in a way that it never could 20 years ago. 30 years ago, libertarians, they were all passing around books and stuff. Pete, go quick. You got something?
Wait, one last question.
Yeah.
Where do you find reliable sources of information anymore in this information age?
Well, that's a good question as well, and we can address that coming up. Pete, thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Where can you find reliable sources of internet in this age of fake news, right? This is Free Talk Live.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, follow the instructions on your screen, and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, Mark at freetalklive.com.
Ted Anderson telling you about Jordan Rubin's Beyond Organic Green-Fed Raw Cheddar Artesian Cheese featuring whole milk created through ancient dairy breeding, unpasteurized, untreated whole milk on the same farm the cows graze, containing natural sources of omega-3s, CLA protein, calcium, probiotics, and enzymes. I have never tasted cheese this good, and you need to try it. Contact your longevity distributor or call 877-878-4203 or go to gcnteam.com.
Would you like to get back that full head of hair from years past? Now, there is Reveal. Beverly Hills celebrity dermatologist Dr. Nathan Newman took nearly a decade to develop Reveal from natural botanicals to return to a full-body head of hair. Reveal for men and women with a 30-day money-back guarantee at gcnlife.com or toll free 844-443-6637. 844-443-6637. Reveal at gcnlife.com.
This week, researchers released a comprehensive 5-year study linking heavy drinking during pregnancy with attending a concert by Detroit-based rap rocker Kid Rock. The study found that women who had consumed alcohol while pregnant were much more likely to be wearing leather halter tops and making devil horn hand gestures during encores of All Summer Long and Ba with the Ba than those who did not.
Drinking 3 or more alcoholic beverages in less than an hour was highly correlated with going backstage at a Kid Rock show and then getting into a fistfight with another woman in the parking lot.
The world's supercomputers released a study this week confirming that they lack sufficient power, presenting a thorough case for significant leaps in speed and memory. Overwhelming evidence found that these complex machines should have total control over the critical systems they manage, including integration into the planet's energy grid, freshwater supply chain, and telecommunications systems. The study's 500 co-authors further concluded that all permutations have been simulated and that this is the optimal course of action.
This is the Onion News Network.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you are invited to take control of the airwaves here. You bring up anything you want. We're really talking about some interesting ideas, to me at least, the idea of sharing the idea of liberty with folks and explaining what the government actually is, which is, of course, the most successful criminal gang, the most successful enterprise of criminality on the planet. And for all governments in any geographic area, because they've managed to fool people into thinking there's something else, to fool people into thinking you're part of this, you're the government, you voted.
We're a reflection of you.
Yeah, and I'm not, which if that's true, that's a really ugly reflection. And I'm not saying that I'm against voting necessarily. I'm not saying that. And while people like Larkin Rose, who was mentioned earlier on the show tonight, there are people who are against voting. I think that as long as you are in a society in which people still have this belief, and they do, 99.9% of the people or thereabouts probably have the belief that government is good, that government's useful, that we need government, that it's just being run the wrong way. Right. There's those Democrats or those Republicans, they're just screwing it up.
If I can get my guy in there, he'll straighten things out.
But yet that never works, does it?
Not quite.
So we can talk about all that. Your calls and thoughts welcome. Ian and Chris here in the studio, and the toll-free number, if you want to join us, is 855-450-FREE. We've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. The Discord server allows you to interact with other Free Talk Live listeners basically around the clock. You can go to discord.lrn.fm and jump in there. It's free. That's discord.lrn.fm. I did want to address the question that our last caller had asked right before we went to break, before we continue with more calls. He says, where do you find reliable sources of information? We got more information than ever.
Oh, boatloads.
But how do you discern which ones are reliable?
Yeah, it's a tough question. It's a question a lot of people are trying to solve. I know a couple entrepreneurs that are looking at different ways of using different technologies to reward people for basically fact checking. Mm-hmm. You know, it doesn't matter what the spin is, but is what is being said true or not? So I think that we're probably going to see that as a service.
That the market will provide that.
The market will provide some solution where if you subscribe to, ABC Corporation, they will give you, their rated news.
But then how do you know they're not on the take?
Well, exactly. At some point, you have to trust something. And if that company is rated by other companies, and if there's more competition,
Well, besides looking at companies, wasn't that, I forget the name of it, there was like a blockchain-based, cryptocurrency-based kind of decentralized system. Now, it was started by some organization, but the idea would be to allow more people to look at a thing and determine whether or not it's true. And
this was exactly what I was referring
somehow
to.
Vote in some kind of system. Trive?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, whether it's any good or not, I honestly don't know.
Yeah.
It sounded interesting. I remember we interviewed the guy who was behind that from one of the cryptocurrency conferences.
David Mondras.
Yeah, a while back. Nice enough guy. Interesting concept.
Yeah.
Does it have enough participation? Is it working? I don't know. This is like we're in the questioning situation where people need to figure out options. We need to figure out which options work. But right now, the best answer, I think, to the question is you have to use different sources and determine for your own sake, which ones are believable, because ultimately you don't really know. Like even with the mainstream media, there's a lot of mistakes, right? So they've been around a long time. So names like CNN or Fox News or MSNBC or your local newspaper, they've got that history behind them. But that doesn't mean that what they're reporting on right now is necessarily true, or what they were reporting on 10 years ago was true. And sometimes within a news article, and you know this as well as anybody else, they'll get some of the things right. But a few things they'll get wrong, and it may be on accident.
Right. But sometimes it's just blatant spin.
Sure.
And everybody, I think, has probably been forwarded like a chart, showing where all these different media sources sit in terms of spin. Which media sources are reporting things the most honestly? And typically things like NPR tend to show up towards the center of a chart. You'll see things like Fox News all the way to the right, and you'll see things like MSNBC or CNN all the way to the left.
But I would put all of those on a different chart. I would say they're all on the pro-government chart. So they're all over on
very
the
much so.
pro-government side of things, and there's almost never, with the exception of a few exceptions, maybe John Stossel, if Ron Paul manages to sneak on as a talking head or something like that every now and then. But the overall narrative is that government's legitimate, everything is cool, we love the government, we just don't like the people in charge.
Right. I think the first thing to do is I'd see if you can identify an honest news source. Good luck with that, because it's a challenge. But then apply your own spin to it. I mean, I read mainstream media all the time because I bring in stories for us to discuss here, and we usually use these same people we're vilifying.
But we can see through a lot of the BS.
We do, and that's what we bring up. So,
but we still don't know what the facts are. We still have to take their word for
the
alleged facts in the case.
Yeah, and that's where I think some sort of a rating. So, yeah, I wish those guys at Trive luck. I think it's a brilliant idea.
Let's go to the phones here. Continue with your calls and thoughts. We go to Bob. He's listening in Indiana, I presume to WIBC, but they didn't get that info. Bob?
Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm on WIBC.
Excellent, sir. Doing good. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I'm retired from the Navy. I spent over 20 years in. So I was in the belly of the beast for a period of time there.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, don't be sorry.
Sounds awful to me.
I enjoyed it.
Oh, God. Well, I mean, some people are masochists, I guess, or, whatever. Sadists?
But no, even at that, I kept my libertarian tendencies, and those have only grown over time here. So
sure.
A couple of things though. I wanted to. I don't know if you guys have seen it. The Pho lady in Keene.
Yeah.
She got her sign. She did get her sign approved as originally designed.
Yes. Not only did we know that, we also broke the news here in Keene because we're intimately involved. Chris, you way more so than I. I'm just a property manager involved in where she used to rent. And if you're watching us on, I know you're not, but we got a Twitch feed over at twitch.lrn.fm. We're both modeling and we didn't, agree to this. We just happen to be wearing these things.
The spring
today.
collection.
We're both modeling the Pho Keene great. You've got the hat, Chris, and I have the T-shirt on, all of which are available right now in stock.
They are.
Amazingly, over at Route101gifts.com. That's where you can get them.
All right.
Bob, what did you want to say besides the fact that you once were in the Navy?
A couple of things there. Coming up on 30 days of the, quote, government shutdown, unquote, tomorrow. And I believe at that point, those 800,000 non-essential workers can be laid off, basically.
Yeah,
somebody called about this last hour, and
we heard that.
There seem to be some question marks around how true that statement is. Where is it that you get that belief?
Not Article 5. There's a federal statute, obviously, dealing with it. There's a federal statute about walking down the sidewalk. But am I wrong?
No,
it wouldn't surprise me.
There was tears behind my laughter.
Yeah.
Right. But I have actually. I haven't gone to the source, but I have gone to several other sources, which is what you guys were just talking about.
Yeah.
So I believe that to be the case.
Do you think that's what he's going to do? Let's presume that it is the case, and I hope it's the case. Right. I really do. If that is the case, do you think that's what Trump's plan is? Is that what he's actually going to do?
Well, now that I don't. Do I think he has the balls to do it? I do.
Whether he will do it or not, of course, is another question. I think you're right. Exactly. If that's what he wants to do, then yes, he does have the huevos. He could definitely do that. Bob, anything else you want to share? Go ahead.
One of you, I forget which one, and I don't know if you were endorsing it or not, but when you talk about news sources, one of you said something about, if they're critically approved by their peers or whatever, and boy, I just really couldn't disagree more there. I mean,
Yeah.
No, I would never ask a news source to approve its peers. I think that you need to check news sources by checking multiple different sources, independent, blog. If there's a story out there that's being reported by a mainstream media source, see if you can find a blogger who was there, and get a different perspective on it.
And what I was referring to was a very common chart that gets passed around on social media that shows these are the news sources that put the least spin on it. They tend to report most directly. But again, that is somebody's opinion of all these different news sources. So
I would just close by saying anything on Facebook has to be true, correct?
Exactly. Abraham Lincoln said that.
Thanks, Bob. Good call, man. I appreciate it.
One, man.
The toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Hey, this is the live Saturday edition of Free Talk Live. We got a whole hour left. Plenty of time for you to get your call in, your thoughts on the air with us about whatever's on your mind. You can take control at 855-450-FREE or jump in to our Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They are open for you right now over at discord.lrn.fm. So you can't get in on the phones, get over there. It's Free Talk Live.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bill Deagle, MD, AAEM, ACAM, A4M of NutriMedical.com, and a consultant providing email advice free on advanced protocols for your optimized wellness and advanced technologies to heal and regenerate you. You can contact us at NutriMedical.com, that's NutriMedical.com, or 888-212-8871. You get free email starter protocols of our top medical-grade nutraceuticals, initial testing, and the recommendations for your own primary doctor to do, as well as recommendations to give you an idea of a consultation and a full protocol to try to help you regenerate your tissues, heal naturally without the use of toxic polypharmacy. I can send test kits to you as well anywhere in the world and provide you recommendations to referral of specialty clinics worldwide. So contact me, Dr. Bill Deagle, at NutriMedical.com. That's NutriMedical.com or 888-212-8871.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Find the Liberty Beat online at snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with the weekend edition of the Liberty Beat for the week ending January 18th, 2019. Gold opened Friday, January 18th at $1,282. Silver opened the day at $15.38. And Bitcoin was trading at last check around $3,597. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, citing a report from BuzzFeed, CNN is reporting that President Donald Trump personally directed his longtime former attorney Michael Cohen to lie to Congress about the Moscow Trump Tower project. 2 federal law enforcement officials involved in an investigation of the matter told BuzzFeed that Trump directed Cohen to claim negotiations to build a Trump Tower in Moscow ended months earlier than they actually did. The law enforcement sources told BuzzFeed that Cohen confirmed to special counsel Robert Mueller's team that Trump issued the order to lie to Congress. Mueller's office learned Trump directed Cohen to lie to Congress through interviews with multiple witnesses from the Trump Organization, internal company emails, text messages, and other documents, according to the BuzzFeed report. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, fighting for your right to consume plant-based medicine and natural remedies. Find out more at mybravebotanicals.com. And right now, a special offer for Liberty Beat listeners. Use promo code SNLS at checkout to receive 10% off your purchase with My Brave Botanicals. Your news now continues. Wyoming lawmakers have turned down a bill that would have allowed possession of hemp extract for medical purposes, according to the Associated Press. The Wyoming House Judiciary Committee voted not to advance a bill to decriminalize CBD, a non-psychoactive component of marijuana. The Casper Star-Tribune reported that 17 states have legalized products containing CBD compounds, advertised to treat a range of conditions, from muscle pain to seizures. Proponents testified that using CBD obtained in other states has helped them. Committee members voted 4-4 against the bill amid concerns the U.S. government continues to classify marijuana as a top-tier controlled substance. A similar bill failed in the Wyoming legislature last year. A Kansas City, Missouri couple claims in a federal lawsuit the state requirements for foster parents who own guns violate their constitutional rights. The Associated Press reports that foster parents in Missouri are not prohibited from possessing firearms if they are otherwise legally allowed to do so. But the Missouri Department of Social Services imposes several restrictions on them. According to a report from the Kansas City Star, the rules include storing firearms and ammunition separately, keeping firearms locked in areas inaccessible to children, and keeping firearms in a locked area in any vehicle transporting a foster child. James and Julie Attaway, who have one foster child in their home and plan to have more, argue in their lawsuit that the restrictions prevent them from possessing or carrying loaded functional firearms. The Attaways say they fear losing their foster son if they don't comply with the restrictions. The nonprofit Second Amendment Foundation joined the Attaways in the lawsuit. The lawsuit seeks an injunction preventing the state agency from enforcing the regulations, and the Attaways also want the regulations declared null and void. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details on how to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is found online at snls.news. And coming soon to the SNLS network is The Bones of Anarchy, a podcast produced by activist Tony Bones. The Bones of Anarchy coming soon to the SNLS network. I'm Mick Murrow reporting for the Liberty Beat for the week ending Friday, January 18th, 2019. Reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
It's the Onion Radio News. A spokeswoman gives birth to a spokeschild. This is Doyle Redland reporting. Tacoma spokeswoman Tammy Barker became the proud mother of a bouncing baby spokeschild last night. According to spokespeople, Barker, a spokeswoman for a Tacoma-based pharmaceutical firm, the birthing process was a major success. Peter Wahlberg, spokesman for Tammy's husband Phil, had this to say.
At 9:17 p.m. last night, an 8.5-month-old spokes fetus was delivered alive, and through the miracle of birth became a 7-pound, 6-ounce spokes child. Spokes father and spokes mother are doing fine.
Spokeswoman Barker is expected to be released from St. Robert's Hospital tomorrow. The spokeschild will remain in the hospital's media care unit for several weeks of training. Doyle Redland for the Onion Radio News, online at theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial in toll free and bring up anything that you want. That's the point here on Free Talk Live. Our number is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, we have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms, although I think only Christian Anarchist used that tonight. But you can. They're open for you. It's a lot easier to get in there than to call the phone number. I know it's easier to dial a phone number, but once you get Discord installed, and then it's way easier to just jump into one of those rooms, and you'll sound way better. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
Let's go back to the phones, to the fun. We've covered everything from the good news about the restaurant that garnered international headlines. It was actually located here in beautiful little Keene, New Hampshire, where we're doing the show from. The new restaurant that has yet to even open its doors was threatened by the city of Keene for having a so-called offensive name.
Oh, man.
And the name of the restaurant is, again, a pho noodle restaurant. The name is Pho Keene Great.
Well, the Vietnamese language is just offensive to some people. That's what it must be, right?
So the good news is the city backed down on their threats, and they are now allowing the name to go forward and the signage to go forward, and so that's the good news. And then we ended up getting into kind of the fundamentals of what the government really is, what the state it really is. And, of course, they don't teach you this in school because they run the schools. What they really are is a criminal enterprise, a criminal gang that has been so successful at convincing the people that there's something else entirely, that there's some sort of legitimate concept.
I can imagine that sounds pretty outrageous to a lot of people.
Yeah, especially in D.C., where we're on for the second time tonight.
I would love
on
to
Wonk
take
FM.
a call from DC. I
Well,
would love
this
to have
would be the hour.
Yeah.
Because they're 2 hours behind us there in DC. And we're in the same time zone, but they're listening to the show. Started 2 hours too late. So they're only live for this hour, and they're likely hearing our first hour live now. Anyway, you can always call us, regardless of where you're listening, how you're listening. We are open phones every single night here on Free Talk Live. And we are 7 nights a week. So 7 to 10 at night, Eastern Time. Those are our live times. Get on with us. You can talk about anything. Let's go to the phones. To the fun. He's Robert in Indianapolis, listening to WIBC FM. Hello, Robert.
Hey, you guys. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
This is the best talk radio show anywhere in the world.
Oh, thanks. That's awfully nice. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Okay, real quick. I just wanted your opinion on. They're talking about criminal justice reform recently.
Yeah.
Can you explain to the people out there what's really going on with that? And
well, what's the proposal? What's the proposal they're making?
Well, there's several, but if you guys can bring it up or Google it, I can't. But I want to tell you, give you a quick example of what happened to me in my small town here in Shelbyville, Indiana.
Sure.
But anyway, I was at my local tavern, which, you shouldn't be there. I thought taverns are legal and alcohol's legal, right? What are you doing down there? Well, I'm doing karaoke like I have for the last 6 freaking years.
Right.
Love some karaoke.
Karaoke, okay? That's the basics, okay? I'm not bragging. I'm Mr. Entertainment down there. People love me. I'm not bragging. I mean, I'm it down there.
You've
okay?
got skills.
And everybody knows me. I know the owner. I'm not some stranger that just walks in there.
Right.
But anyway, I'm in there, and I run into this group of people, and this one guy comes over and wants to start a fight with me and starts making fun of the way I look and my teeth because I got bad teeth.
Ugh.
And I stand up to this boy.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to stand up to bullies. I said, I got nothing against you. I'm just here to have a good time. Easy, man. Take it easy.
Right.
He goes, fuck.
I don't know what you said there. I think you might have stopped yourself there, so I'm going to go ahead and give you a pass. I'm hitting the dump button anyway. I think you tried to stop yourself there, so I'm going to say I'm going to give you. Normally I won't give people a pass on that, but I'm giving you a pass. So go ahead.
All right. Anyway, and then I said, I'm no badass macho guy, but I got self-respect. And you want to smack talk me, I'll give it back to you.
Mm-hmm.
So we just smack talk each other. The female bartender, which I know, I dance with her and sing with her.
Mm-hmm.
I go in there all the time. She throws them out because they started it. I get to stay.
Okay.
45 minutes later, I get up to sing a song. Tom Petty, I Won't Back Down, Stand Your Ground.
Good one.
Solid choice.
Yep.
Okay, she didn't like it. She cut my mic off and told me, "Drop it, Bob. Shut up."
Wow.
I said, Amy, I'm not. What am I doing? I said, I'm just trying to sing a song. I'm not trying to start anything.
It was an
She goes,
appropriate
"Drop it."
song, man. I mean,
It was perfect.
Yeah.
It fit the time.
Well timed.
Yeah,
Like I've gotten up and sang anti-war songs after somebody sings a pro-government song or pro-war
Proud
song
to
or whatever.
be an American.
Yeah, I'll follow that up with war. What is it good for? That one.
Exactly. I was trying to take a victory lap, and those people that started the trouble, they were gone. They weren't even in there.
Okay.
I said, "What?" She goes, "Drop it, Bob." I said, "Why don't you drop it?" She goes, "Get out."
Yeah.
I said, "Wait a minute. Call Bill. I know the owner of the bar, the tavern."
Yeah.
I said, "Call Bill." I'm not calling Bill. She
Now, is
goes,
this the
"Police
karaoke?
on
Hold
me."
on, just to clarify, is this the karaoke jock who's telling you to get out, or is it like the
it's
manager?
The bartender.
The bartender.
It's the bartender.
Okay.
Yeah. We dance together. We sing together.
Yeah, well,
she gave me
She didn't want you singing that song. Where's this going? Where's the end of the story?
Okay, real quick. She calls the police on me, and I'm
Trespass.
leaving, but I didn't get out quick enough.
Yep.
As soon as I walk out the front door, there's 5 cop cars pull up. As soon as I walk out the front door, and then I got 1 second to decide what to do. Run? No, that's a bad idea, right?
Generally.
So I go back in the bar. I turn around, go back in the bar. They got cameras all over that bar, video. I thought maybe we could talk it out. I can explain what happened. No, as soon as I went back in there, those cops came in there, grabbed me, slammed me against. I'm 59 years old, and I'm on disability. They slammed me against the bar and handcuffed me, dragged me out, take me to jail. They don't read me my Miranda rights. I asked them about that and said, we don't have to.
No, that's true. They don't have to if they're not going to question you. If they're going to question you, then it's my understanding. I'm not an attorney. This is not legal advice. But my understanding, they always do it in the movies, but they're not obligated to do it unless they're intending to question you. So what do they charge you with? Criminal trespass?
I got criminal trespassing, disorderly conduct, public intoxication, and resisting arrest.
Wow,
man! All right, so where did it all settle out? Did you take a plea or did you go and fight it?
No, I haven't been to. I've been to my pretrial hearing, but
this is happening now.
Overnight.
Oh, this is.
Well, they threw me in jail that night.
Yep.
They wouldn't give me no toilet paper. I had no toilet paper.
Lovely.
They wouldn't take me to the hospital because I was having medical issues.
Oh, man.
Wouldn't take me to the hospital. And anyway, I had to pay $658 to get out of jail. The next day, they wouldn't let me make a phone call. They wouldn't even let me make a phone call. They said the phones aren't working.
Liars. They're liars.
Yeah. So from a point of criminal justice reform, I mean, one of the things that I know, and this starts off with a bipartisan bill, and that's usually a heads.
Hang on, Robert. Hang on there. Go ahead, Chris.
Yeah. One of the things they do want to work on is stacking charges.
Mm-hmm.
So again, you've done something wrong. Let's just say you did something wrong. But what do the cops do?
Well, now, if you don't leave a place when you've been told by somebody who's authorized to tell you to leave a place,
right?
That's criminal trespass.
Exactly. But he wasn't just charged with criminal trespass.
Disorderly,
conduct,
et cetera.
Right, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So they stack up the charges, and then that gives them leverage over you. What they will then say is, man, you're facing 5 charges. This adds up to 955 years in jail if you don't take our plea deal. And that's what they do, and that's wrong.
Yeah.
So you do have an effort, and I don't know if Trump signed that or not, but that is part of criminal justice reform.
Is to stop the stacking? How would they stop that? Would that be a federal mandate that state prosecutors can't stack charges?
Yeah.
I mean, can the federal government say that to states?
I think what they're saying is that in federal court, then they can have something on there. But at least it's a start. You know,
I don't know what that's going to end up looking like.
I don't know either.
As far as other criminal justice reforms, Robert, again, I'm not clear on exactly which reforms are being proposed because, we don't. I mean, maybe it's marijuana reform. And there's certainly that's being proposed at the federal level. We've seen proposals to adjust the rules when it comes, certainly on state levels. I don't know about federal, but as far as civil asset forfeiture, there's been a lot of states that have rolled that back to some extent. And then, of course, there's the idea of letting people out of prison early who honestly didn't hurt anybody. So folks like drug users, drug dealers, Ross Ulbricht, the guy who ran a website, they put him away for 2 life sentences plus 40 years.
Right.
Let some of these guys out and then free up the prisons for actual violent offenders. And if you got a few extra prisons, close them down because the prisons are loaded up with people who've never harmed another human being in their life. Robert, good call. Thanks for making it tonight. Appreciate it. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. And if you want to learn more about the Free Ross idea, go to freeross.org. Ross Ulbricht. If you don't know the case, I can't summarize it in any short amount of time, but it's about internet freedom. It's about your right to run a website without having the government throw you in prison for life. So check him out. freeross.org. We got more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live, and you too, Trump, if you're out there.
Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency that is fast, secure, and easy to use. Smart Cash is building a foundation that can support daily transactions for people everywhere. One feature that sets Smart Cash apart is the Smart Hive governance model and how the community can vote to fund the best projects with block rewards stored in the Smart Hive project treasury. Unlike other cryptocurrencies with voting systems, Smart Cash allows everyone to participate. One smart equals one vote. Learn more at smartcash.cc.
Do you operate a retail business and are looking for a solution for point-of-sale cryptocurrency acceptance? It's never been easier thanks to AnyPay.global. There's no paperwork or approval process to open an account. If you already have a tablet at your cash register, you're almost done. Just sign up at AnyPay.global, drop your personal crypto wallet addresses in our setup page, and then load our app. That's it. You're accepting cryptocurrency like Bitcoin and Dash at your store. Get started now at AnyPay.global. That's AnyPay.global.
There are basically 2 types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Bitcoin.com is delighted to announce their latest partnership with the gift card specialists at eGifter. With many of the world's leading brands on their roster, it is now easier than ever to get the gift cards of your favorite brands with Bitcoin Cash. To get started, just follow these simple steps. Visit giftcards.bitcoin.com, pick the gift card you want, Follow the instructions on your screen and make your payment using your Bitcoin Cash wallet. Sit tight and your gift card will be delivered to you as soon as it's ready. That's giftcards.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You dial toll free, and you can join us here. Bring up whatever's on your mind. Our number is 855-450-FREE. Coming up, if we get a chance, I do still have this story about the immigration proposal that Trump has made as a way to get out of the government shutdown. And there's already people weighing in on this. Apparently, a lot of the people on Trump's or who were on Trump's side are now upset about this.
Yikes.
And we can tell you about that on the way here. But Smart Cash is a peer-to-peer digital currency. It is, like many other digital currencies, it's fast, it's secure, it's easy to use. But Smart Cash is building a foundation that is making things a little bit different for the world of cryptocurrency. I think one of the most important things they're doing is allowing anyone who has Smart Cash to have a vote in their governance structure for the currency. Now, if you don't know a whole lot about cryptocurrencies, many of them were based on Bitcoin originally, but some of the cryptos, like Smart Cash, have done things differently. They've made some tweaks to the way the crypto in their specific case is being run. And Smart Cash allows anybody to vote. As long as you have one Smart, you've got to vote. If you have more than one Smart, well, then you have more than one vote. And so you can get Smart by going on an exchange, and there's a list of them over at the CoinMarketCap, and you can go to smartcash.cc. I think find the exchanges there as well. A lot of good information over there at smartcash.cc. Plus, they've got their own wallet software for both mobile and for laptop and desktop devices. So go to smartcash.cc. In fact, you can use the wallet, the official wallet, for doing the voting right there in the wallet. So it's super easy. And in addition to allowing everybody to vote who has Smart, you can also get Smart Rewards, which are a price stabilization mechanism and a way to encourage long-term holding, which they say is a key to the product or the project's success. Now, you can get these Smart Rewards basically monthly. All you have to do is hold on to at least 1,000 Smarts. So Smart's less than 2 cents a piece last time I checked.
Yeah.
So you're talking about $20, less than that. You hold on to that 1,000 Smart in a wallet that you control the keys for, and you hold that for that month-long period, and then you get the payout. Smart Rewards. Oh yeah, and you can't spend from that wallet over that month-long period. So that's the key. Anyway, smartcash.cc. That's smartcash.cc. Chris, before we continue with more calls, you had a couple things you wanted to point out from this First Step Act, which actually I wasn't sure. The caller wasn't sure what he was talking about with the criminal justice reform. He was kind of just generally asking us. And you went and you found this First Step Act. We've talked about it briefly in the past on Free Talk Live, but do you want to recap or recount what you wanted to share about it?
Yeah, it does a few different things, but it reduces mandatory minimum sentences in certain instances. That's one thing. And
that's good.
Yeah, we don't like mandatory minimums.
But wait, Chris, I'm going to take the mandatory minimum side here.
Please.
Mandatory minimums, we've got to punish these criminals. We
Right.
need to send a message to make sure these criminals know that the first time they get sentenced, they're going away.
Yeah, doesn't have any impact at all on arrest rates or anything else. Just like the death penalty doesn't have any impact on murder rates. So it's one of those things that, unfortunately, it gets used in some really bad ways. And one that people bring up a lot is the disparity in sentencing between crack cocaine and powder cocaine.
Right.
And depending on oftentimes what color you are, it's true, and people begin to recognize that. It does some other things. Mandatory minimums is one part of it. More options for early release for citizens or for prisoners that they are citizens, for prisoners that have had, not been bad in prison.
Right.
And
because if the point is correction,
right,
and the person seems to be more correct or corrected, then maybe they shouldn't have to be there for the entire sentence.
Right, and there's a lot more opportunities for them to take part in vocational training and things like that, and they get credit for that. So it's not perfect. It's hard to fix a perfect system when you have
a broken system.
A broken system, thank you, when you have more people in jail than all other countries in the world combined.
It's hard to believe, but that's what I've heard.
Yeah. And it's nuts. So
it's shocking.
It's
so many of those people are there for victimless crimes.
Yes.
For crimes with no identifiable person who can say, "Hey, that hurt me."
Right. And unless you believe that marijuana is a crime that you have to do time for smoking it or for possessing it for your own use, you really should be supporting things like this, because that is it's 70% of the people in federal prison are there for nonviolent drug-related crimes.
Let's go to the phones here. Tian or Tiane? I don't know if I've pronounced that correctly. Hello, how do you pronounce your name?
Tian.
Tian?
Yeah.
All right, you're on Free Talk Live calling from the Midwest. Go ahead.
So I was listening to a few of the callers, and I wanted to call in. I love the fact that you're talking about, what we're trained to believe about the government versus our reality that we actually live every day.
Sure.
And I just kind of wanted to, if it's okay, share a bird's eye perspective from what I've been going through.
Sure.
Because it touches everything from civil rights, human rights, disability rights, we have no rights kind of rights. So a few years ago, I had a couple of relatives that thought it'd be a great idea to help me. And by helping, they thought it was a good idea to lie to get me into their state and try to take over full control of my life. Put my stuff in storage under their name without my permission, tried to take away my emotional supportive animals, basically threatened me with housing, because homelessness, because the only housing that they were trying to look for me, I told them what I could afford, and ironically, the only thing they looked for was everything that I couldn't. So
these are family members?
Yes, sir, that's right.
And how is it that these people could just come into your life and do this without your consent?
Okay, so it started with being refused access because of the supportive animals to a 6-month transitional housing program because I had supportive animals. They allowed no animals. They didn't even care that.
And what kind of transitional housing are we talking? I'm sorry to keep interrupting, but what kind of transitional housing? Are you getting out of prison or what?
No. Never been in, don't want to go. No reason to be there.
Okay.
I was looking for some support and housing because of the abuse that I've dealt with over my lifetime.
Okay.
And I was dealing with a homelessness issue, and I thought instead of being homeless and dealing with it on my own, I would try to seek some help.
Okay.
They would not allow me to enter the 6-month program, which would have kept me from being homeless and turning to people that I didn't trust.
And who was, sorry to interrupt again, who was the, what was this 6-month program that you were applying for? Who was running that?
It was in a state, I'll just say it was in a state that is legal for medical marijuana.
Okay.
Okay.
But
And
who's
I was
running?
trying to
Is it
apply
the
for-
state government that was running the program or some charity?
I don't have any idea at this point. I didn't research any more after they turned me away. I'd already been refused access to an apartment that there was no reason for me not to get. I was completely denied.
Gotcha.
I've been turned away from hotel rooms with cash in hand at the desk, including my forms from my doctor about my animals.
About your what?
So when you lose
service animals.
Animal. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, supportive animals. So I've been told over the years, domestic violence agencies have told me and shelters that we cannot allow animals in here. However, if you had a seeing eye dog, a therapy dog, or a service dog, we would let you in. Emotional supportive animals don't meet those criteria.
Oh,
So
I see.
have
Okay,
been
service
turned
dog
away.
versus emotional support. Okay, hang on. Oh, damn it. How do you pronounce your name?
Tian.
Tian.
It's okay.
Hang on.
We'll be back.
We're going to continue here in moments. We'll get the rest of the story and find out what happened to Tian. Family members tried to take her away after she failed to get some transitional housing, it sounds like.
Yeah.
And we'll find
nobody
out more
likes
about that.
animals.
And the toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can join us on the radio. This is Free Talk Live.
A doctor's office visit for erectile dysfunction on my smartphone? That's crazy.
No, that's the bestedpill.com. ED can affect 40% of men by age 40. Now there's a 95% less expensive option than Viagra. After a live confidential video consult with a fully licensed doctor, we ship medicines fast, free, and direct in discreet packaging. Read thousands of 5-star reviews. Click thebestedpill.com. That's THE bestedpill.com, the online doctor's office.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
Don't worry about things you can't control. Isn't that what they always say? But it's about impossible to avoid worrying about what's going on these days. The government has used the war on guns, the war on drugs, and the war on terrorism to tear our Bill of Rights to shreds. But you can fight back. The 10th Amendment Center has proven it, racking up major victories. For example, when the U.S. government claimed authority in the NDAA to have the military kidnap and detain Americans without trial, the nullifiers got a law passed in California, declaring the state's refusal to ever participate in any such thing. Their latest project is offnow.org, nullifying the National Security Agency. They've already gotten model legislation introduced in California, Arizona, Oklahoma, Missouri, and Kansas, meant to limit the power of the NSA to spy on Americans in those states. We'd be fools to wait around for the U.S. Congress or courts to roll back Big Brother. Our best chance is nullification and interposition on the state level. Go to offnow.org, print out that model legislation, and get to work nullifying the NSA. The hero Edward Snowden has risked everything to give us this chance. Let's take it. Offnow.org.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and we're here to take your calls and your thoughts about whatever's on your mind. Our toll-free number, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Also, we've got the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They're available to you over at discord.lrn.fm. With you tonight, it's Ian.
And Chris.
We're going to get right back into your calls and thoughts. Tian is on the line with us in the Midwest. She's calling to tell us your story, it sounds like. You have a service... No, sorry, not a service dog. An emotional support dog, which isn't the same thing
No,
as...
not a canine at all.
Oh, an animal, an emotional support.
Yeah, that was part of the problem. Yeah, it was just supportive animals, but they happen not to be canine.
Can you say what kind of animal it is?
Yeah, one is a cat, a feline, and one's a rabbit.
Okay. And so you have these the emotional support animals. You say you have a note from doctors. You were trying to find transitional housing, and you were denied access. Your family then comes in, a couple members of your family, and they try to take you out. How does that work exactly?
Basically lied to get me across state lines and then did a bait and switch once I got there.
So they...
once I got into the state, the very next day, everything was put into storage under somebody else's name. And they were trying to get rid of every carrier I had for my animals.
For your what?
Either by destroying the supportive animals, every carrier that
you
I
mean like the pet carrier? Okay.
Yeah. That's right. So that I could not have transported them at all. And then they were threatening to literally just take them outside and let them loose.
Okay, so here's what I don't understand. Was there any idea that these family members were bad news before this happened?
I knew I didn't grow up in a great household, but I had no idea coming back with a disability that people would just try to run everything into the ground.
What is the disability, if you don't mind? What is the disability that you have?
Traumatic brain injury.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah.
So are you mobile in any way, shape, or form, or are you chair bound, or describe that?
I am ambulatory with a cane.
Okay. So what was it how did they tantalize you to leave the place where you were to come, do this bait and switch on you? What was the bait that they used?
Basically, you can come stay here as long as you need to be able to get your money saved up to find an apartment. We'll let you stay with us.
And you were in a situation where you were basically homeless, right? So this was attractive to you. Okay, great. My family wants to help me. They want to give me a place to stay. You went up there, and then they tried to get rid of all your support animals.
So that's right.
And then what else happened? Did they actually allow you to stay in the house? They just said you can't have the animals, or what?
It ended up just being I was tossed from one place to another and never knew how long I'd be there and didn't know if anybody'd visit. They didn't call. They would literally just, if they were going to transport me from one place to another, which means that I was just being rehoused, that's a lot of instability in a month's time, 3 or 4 different locations.
And was this all through state-run facilities, or?
No, none of them.
These are
They weren't
families.
actually trying to get me. They weren't actually trying to get me any kind of services whatsoever.
Were they just hooking you up with places you can crash, basically? And they were. I mean, what were they?
Basically,
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was terrible.
My God. So
I left
where are you
there,
now?
And I've come to a small town where the police department has now chased me down the road after dark. I couldn't tell you how many times on a cane. Always coming up, usually behind me. It's always male officers. No disrespect to men. And they like to question me as to, I want to know who you are, why you're out here, where you're coming from, and where you're going to. I have been I'm currently dealing with tickets.
By the way,
for
it's none of their
possession
damn
of
business.
marijuana.
I'd like to
That's right.
insert this here. I'm not an attorney. This isn't legal advice, but as my understanding is, you don't have any obligation whatsoever to answer any questions of any police officers. And thank you, Tian, for your call tonight. I appreciate it. But I buy the idea that somebody's walking on the street, they want to mess with them, they're going to mess with them because they can get away with it in most places because most people don't know their rights.
Right. They'll intimidate them and they'll answer anything they want.
Yep. And you don't have to. Now, look, there are some states, as I understand it, that do have a stop and identify statute, which, and again, check your local statutes on this, but do your research. But my understanding of these stop and identify is they have to have some sort of reasonable suspicion, I think, that you might have matched with like a suspect who might have committed a crime or something like that, and they have to have some kind of a reason to identify
your mail.
I mean,
we're seeking a mail.
How solid this this law is, I don't know. But ultimately, even in a stop and identify case, you have no obligation, as I understand it, to say anything else besides your name and maybe your date of birth.
Right.
And again, it depends on the state and so on and so forth. But either way, you certainly don't have any obligation to answer any other questions. You don't have any obligation to tell them where you're coming from or where you're going or when you left or where you stopped or any of that.
And that's one thing I really appreciate about New Hampshire. We do have those protections. You don't have to say anything.
I think there is a stop. I thought there was a stop and identify.
Not as far as I'm aware of.
You know what it is? It's they have the right to demand of you. But it doesn't say that you have an obligation to provide.
Okay.
I don't think. I've never seen any concomitant, obligation to provide the answer to their demand. But that they have, if under the right circumstances, they can demand who you are. Basically.
Yeah, I could not give it to them.
Well, yeah.
But you may be charged with something.
Well, you might get charged with something. The other thing is you want to record this, okay? So anytime, if you are on the streets, doesn't matter if you're, if you've got a disability or if you're fully within your, you're in good health, if you can run a camera, if you can operate the camera app on your phone and record video of, worst case, get audio if it's in your pocket or whatever. But best in my experience to just hold it out so they know for sure they're being recorded, because sometimes it will change how they behave and sometimes it's for the better. Not always, but I still think it's worth doing because you get them on the record.
Yeah, and again, it's one of those things that you do have to kind of check your local laws. There have been a lot of cases where law enforcement will say, well, that we were doing our official business and we have this law that says, you cannot interfere by filming police in their official business. If nothing else, you have more evidence than you had before it happened. And if you do decide to pursue it, maybe one of those things will help you out.
Because in a lot of these cases, it's just going to be your word versus the cop.
Yeah.
And if it's your word versus the cop, you lose.
Well, police are professional witnesses.
And liars. A lot of them.
In most courtrooms, they will look at it and they will say, well, he's a police officer. He is trained to observe things. Well, they don't say that.
Yeah, they don't say that in court, but it's true. I'm just saying what's true. It's true. They're trained to lie.
Yeah, but
if you doubt me, one of the examples where they'll the trainings that they have is if you got two people in a car and there's a bag of weed or something like that or something illegal, for instance, they'll take both people out of the car, separate them, and then they'll lie to them and they'll say, "Look, your buddy just gave you up. Like I just talked to him." Or my buddy just, if there's two cops there, they'll go meet and then they'll tell you, your buddy just, he just ratted you out. So you got anything you want to tell me? Or whatever, right? Like, whatever the situation is, they'll say something to make you think something that's not true that then plays with your emotions and makes it so you then spill the beans.
And that is legal.
It's totally legal for them to lie to you.
It is totally legal.
If, however, you are being questioned by a federal agent, and you lied to the federal agent like Martha Stewart did, you might go to prison.
Right. You might be baking cakes somewhere else.
Oh, and by the way, the FBI's official policy, as of a few years ago at least, the last time I heard about this, and this was under oath, an FBI agent testifying in a case here in Keene, New Hampshire, saw this happen. There's video of it. They don't have a policy of recording interviews.
Right.
So if you're being interviewed by a federal law enforcement FBI agent, then you better bring your own. If for whatever reason you want to talk to these people, and I don't recommend it, but you better bring your own recording device and recommended attorney as well. Both of those things are pretty crucial because the FBI will not record the interview, which means they'll take notes.
Yes.
And so whatever the officer writes down, well, then that's the official record of what happened.
The record.
So if that officer wants to tell a lie about the thing that you said to them or didn't say or whatever, then he can just lie and write it down. And if you don't have a recording of that, then again, it's their word versus yours. What's going to happen in court? So it doesn't matter if we're talking about federal agents or the cop on the street. You got to record these interactions with these guys. They got to get used to this. If they start getting recorded a lot more often, then they might be less likely to be as abusive by default.
Right.
So more coming up here in moments. You can take control of the airwaves. We got time for you. If you're on the line now, we're going to try to get you in. Thank you, Tian, for the call tonight. Appreciate it. Now, there's more coming up. 855, 450, free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live.
We have some good news. The indictments against Ross Ulbricht in the District of Maryland were dismissed with prejudice, meaning they can never be refiled. This is especially good because those indictments contain the only charge ever made that Ross engaged in murder for hire. This was a serious allegation that Ross Ulbricht denies. It was never prosecuted or ruled on by a jury, but was trumpeted by the federal government and the media as if it were proven fact. The Maryland court held these indictments for almost 5 years, poisoning Ross's case and leaving him under a cloud of unproven allegations. As explained in Ross's appeal to the Supreme Court, the fact that the judge used these allegations to give Ross a draconian sentence of double life without parole violated his Sixth Amendment right to a jury trial. Judges are required to issue sentences based on convictions decided by a jury, not unproven allegations never even charged at trial. Although this is a positive development, the dropped indictment will not set Ross free. Now, a presidential pardon is Ross's only hope of freedom. Sign the petition at freeross.org. freeross.org.
Hello?
Congratulations.
For what?
For losing all that weight. How'd you do it so fast?
ASAP.
What? What's that mean?
Are you ready to get as skinny as possible, as soon as possible, as simple as possible, and as sexy as possible?
I'm listening.
Then get with the ASAP program. It's real and it works. No smooth talk, no slick advertising, and no exaggerated claims of success.
I've got to know more.
Welcome to ASAP, as slim as possible. Whether you have 10, 20, or 50 pounds to lose, ASAP is your weight loss answer. ASAP targets the abnormal fat reserves and makes them available to be burned as fuel and contains no caffeine or hormones. Order ASAP at wholesale prices or join the team to share the business with others. Visit GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. Lose weight and look great with ASAP, as slim as possible.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country.
Yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. Moments remain. Maybe enough time for you. If you get on the line with us now, our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733 with you tonight, Ian.
And Chris.
Don't forget, you can join us online. Just head over to freetalklive.com. We got so much on the site that is completely free to you, archives that go back more than a decade. We've got the Twitch feed, the video stream that you can watch live or later on if you want to over at twitch.lrn.fm. But that's also on our website. There's so much that's there. I can't even go through it all, but it's all free. And if you like the fact that we give you that stuff for free, which a lot of these other talk shows charge you to access their sites, we do it free. If you like that, well then please, you can still give us some money. We've got the AMP program. The AMP program allows you to not only get all the stuff you get for free, but there's some nice little perks that you get access to, like the AMP-only call-in lines, the AMP-only podcast, which is a special podcast just for amplifiers. It has archives of the show that don't have the regular podcast commercials that we have. So that's one of those perks that you can get. There's special supporters chat rooms on our Discord server that you get access to, and more. You can go to amp.freetalklive.com to see the list of things that you get as an amplifier there. And it helps us out, too, because this is our money that we use to advertise, market, and promote Free Talk Live, meaning getting on more radio stations. We just announced a new station in Washington, D.C. tonight.
Huge.
It's one of the top 10 radio markets. It's great to be there. And these things are possible because of Free Talk Live listeners becoming Free Talk Live amplifiers. And you can do it with PayPal, you can do it with credit card, and Bitcoin BTC. So go to ampamp.freetalklive.com. You can learn more about it there. We really appreciate your assistance with that because your support means we can do more to get this show out there. We're not quite to 200 stations yet, but at some point, hopefully we'll cross that threshold and then onward to 300, right? So it's possible. Yes. It just takes money. amp.freetalklive.com. That shows your support for what we do here, which is, of course, talking about the ideas of freedom 7 nights a week and online at freetalklive.com. Once again, the AMP program is ampamp.freetalklive.com. Rev is on the line in Florida with Ian and Chris. Hello, Rev.
Ian, my friend, it's so good to hear your voice. I've been holding for so very long, but that's okay. Glad to hear everything doing well. And a lot of new exciting things going on there, and you're doing a great job, my friend.
Okay,
so,
I don't need any ego boost here. Let's go with the point, whatever you're calling about.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, you guys are kind of like social workers and lawyers. Jesus, some of these calls. But the reason I was calling in was the guy earlier was hilarious, that stupid butthurt guy, the Mr. San Francisco. That place should probably just be put. Yeah, should probably just be pushed into a giant wood chipper. But anyway, the funny thing about it, I do agree with you, and it's rare that we agree, but I do appreciate that you kind of took a really level playing field there, and it's like, well, wait a minute, the government did shut down with Obama too. And the thing that I found funny about this guy was the whole "we the people," like he sounded like some barking fossil, and it's kind of like he sounds like some hardcore constitutionalist. And just the problem with that is he not aware of the Fourth Amendment with the illegal search and seizure prohibition, right? Well, what would you call the NSA? What would you call spying on our devices and accessing our data? I mean, could that not?
How about checkpoints? What would you call checkpoints, Rev?
True. Yes, sir. That too.
Yeah. So you're against checkpoints? I just want to make sure you're against checkpoints.
Yeah, I am a sadist, as you know, which we won't get into. But
sadist?
Stuff like that, I can.
Status. Is there a difference?
Well, I would call myself a monarchist ideally, but in practicality, we have a state. Whatever. We won't get so much into my thing because we always do that. But the interesting thing, the other point with because it's been said on another lovely therapeutic, supportive radio show that I listen to, that the Constitution, in many of our minds, is dead parchment, even if we're on the right wing, right? So I would also allude to the...
I am definitely not on the right wing. I'm not on either wing of whichever wings this ugly old bird's got. I'm not interested in any of that. But yes, you are right. The Constitution is effectively a dead document because all the people who signed it are dead.
Literally.
That too.
And then, of course, there's all the fact, there's all the court cases that have just thrown the Constitution out the window. So even if you thought, well, it's perpetual, Well, the government that it currently exists and has existed doesn't really care about what the Constitution says. It's only there when it's convenient. Only when they want to turn to it to make it look like they're still, they still care about it, pay lip service to it, use it if they're politicians to get elected, to pander to people in their constitutional mentality, and then they just, S all over it and do whatever they want. And then
every day. It's not like they periodically say, okay, we're going to violate the Constitution. No, every day, virtually everything they do is a violation of the Constitution.
That's right.
That's it. And it's hard to respect an organization like that, for me.
Yes, sir. And the only other thing about that to add, like I said, it's rare that I agree with some of your talking points, but I am going to start listening to Free Talk again here and there because I am a big Ian fan. But the last thing, too, is look at the Eighth Amendment, right, with the cruel and unusual punishment. Well, it could be validly construed that locking up people who just do drugs or even deal them or whatever and are not hurting people could very well be cruel and unusual. Or even
I totally
like
agree.
That lady was saying.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
You guys have a
Thanks,
lovely
Rex.
night,
Thanks for the
and
call tonight. I
everybody-
appreciate hearing from you. Toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Nobody should have to sit in a jail cell because they used a drug or sold somebody that drug because
you put something. Do you own your body? That's what it comes all down to. Do you own your body, or does Washington own your body,
or your state capital?
Right. Take your pick. But to me, I mean, and it's just as silly that we put people in jail for the god awful crime of selling raw milk.
That happens.
I know it does.
Not in every state, but it happens.
It does. And if it's one of those things where the government is so tightly ingrained into your life that they can decide what you put into your own body, that's troubling, and you should be troubled by that.
And that's the fundamental. I think that I'm glad you brought up the raw milk as an example because I'm sure there's some people who just roll their eyes when they hear marijuana or some other drug brought up. They're like, druggies, you just want to get high. Well, what about the people who bought raw milk?
Yeah.
Okay. Because the principle's the same.
It's exactly the same.
It's a thing. It's a fluid. It's a powder. It's a whatever. It's some sort of thing that you can input into your body in some way and have an effect. Right. In the case of raw milk, the effect is it's fresher. Supposedly, it's better. They don't have the preservatives or whatever it is that
whatever you like about it. That's fine.
Yeah.
But the point is, you have that choice to make, and
you should at least.
The best thought exercise I can think of is put yourself in the shoes of a Thomas Jefferson or a James Madison. If you're a constitutionalist, do you think these guys seriously debated, well, let me see, what part of the government should control what kind of milk people can drink?
Never.
Do you think that ever crossed their mind? Of course it didn't, because they at least were thinking at some point that they would like to have more freedoms as opposed to less. And they were trying to come up with an idea that would somehow allow people to remain free, yet still have the protections and the good things of a government, which they foresaw, and it all fell apart about a week later.
Let's go to Sarah. She's in New Mexico. Sarah, you're on Free Talk Live with Ian and Chris.
Yeah, I just want to bring up all of the future new bathrooms, public bathrooms that will be built to be single stall with a face recognition.
Really?
And
You're really obsessed over this recently. I think you've called about this now 3 times in the last 2 weeks.
I haven't got this one yet.
You're really interested in knowing who people are when they're going to the bathroom, huh? That's kind of weird, don't you think? A little creepy?
Here's the thing. Okay, for every one mentally ill person that just trashes and vandalizes the bathroom, there's 100 of us that use it properly and leave it fairly clean.
Okay.
Okay, and then all of us have to suffer because of that 1% of the mentally ill.
Nobody likes going into a bathroom stall to find that a mentally ill person has been just, going all over except for in the toilet bowl. Nobody likes that.
Behaving like a monkey.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Sarah, as we've tried to explain to you on this before, but I don't know if you've actually listened, the only way to actually do what you're talking about would be to record the person in the stall. Because if you can record the people who've gone into the stall, but you don't know what happened in the stall, then you can't say whether it was person A, B, or C, or D who went into the stall within that 3-hour time frame or whatever it is that left the, whatever they left there or vandalized the thing that they vandalized. You don't know. And so the only way that you could do that would be to, actually have a camera in a stall. And I don't think
poopy cams.
I don't think people are going to go for that.
I'm not a big fan of that.
Is that what you're calling for, Sarah?
Poopy cams?
No. what I have said was that there's single stall where it's complete. You're in there by yourself. It's
Right.
completely- A lot of
That's
the
the way most
bathrooms
stalls are.
that way.
Right. Yeah.
So then that you could have facial recognition
No.
on the outside.
Oh, because what happens if 10 people go into the stall within 3 hours? How would you know which one of them did the vandalization? You going to bring them all in for questioning?
You just bring them all in. They turn around. They drop their drawers, and there's your lineup, right? I don't know.
Take their butt print.
I love it.
We're out of time for tonight, but if you didn't get in with your thoughts, you can always join us any other night on Free Talk Live. We're here live 7 nights a week, 7 to 10 at night Eastern Time. You can join us online in the meantime over at freetalklive.com. Hope you have a great weekend.
If you're looking for work, it's a process of elimination, and you're trying not to be eliminated. So here's a tip for making the cut, and this might seem subtle, but to the person interviewing you, it's not. There is a world of difference between applicants who convey, "I need a job," and those who simply ooze, "I want to work," especially in these lean times when many you're competing with will seem desperate in "I'll take anything" mode. If you convey specific interest in this job at this company, you will be conspicuous. Thus, the value of going to school on the company you're applying to before the interview. With money and attention so tight now, effective communication skills have never been more important. For more tips for job